Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. What a bunch of um, a bunch of technical issues here. Right now, I can't really hear Lucas at all, but I'm on the process of working on it. That's what we do when we do live streams. Is shit happens, and now we got to figure it out. I should be, but for some reason, his thingy popping up for audio, which is what I am most concerned about. There is a workaround. But I would rather not have to do that. Aha! That's why I should be able to.
Hello?
Yes,
Oh,
I can hear you now, Lucas. Hello.
damn, that sucks. Sorry, dude.
There you are, Lucas. Introduce
Ah,
yourself.
there I am. I'm here. It's me, the guy who comes on when we talk about Godzilla.
I can't help but notice the what is it? The Godzilla versus Gigan shirt. Even though last time we talked about Godzilla versus Gigan, that's like one of your least favorite.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I'm not as hard on it as I used to be, but like,
Same,
there's
actually.
a yeah. The good stuff in that movie is really good, but the bad stuff is really bad.
It really bad.
Yeah.
It's like most things in the '70s era, I think.
Yeah. But I also like
Partic-
the thing is, it's funny you mentioned the shirt because I was in debate of what shirt to fucking wear, and I was like,
Mhm.
fuck, what was the last one I wore? Because I almost wore my -1 shirt. I was like, no, I thought I wore that last time, but I think the last one I wore was actually the evacuation one from Legacy of Monsters. I couldn't tell,
Yes,
so I just went with All
yes,
Reliable.
yeah. Just go with a reliable, then
Yeah.
and you should be just well, Lucas. A certain something. I was about to say somebody, but can't really say somebody. It's a certain thing.
Oh.
Um, just turned 70.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, just turned 70, man.
Holy fuck! I can't believe Gamera turned 70. That's
I
insane.
cannot believe
Can't believe it.
turned 70. I can't believe it.
Insane.
It is
With
completely
with no offense to Gamera.
yeah. Who would have thunk that a giant flying fire breathing turtle?
would have an award-winning film last year too. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Who? Yeah, Gamera -1 was a very interesting film. Off to a great fucking start.
Killing it.
This whole technical problem thing, Lucas, that we just had, just totally threw off my groove.
Hey, I don't know what the fuck happened, man. Like, blame Skype, not me.
Thank God I have my Monster Bean
Oh God.
Java
I wish I had
here.
a fucking drink right now. I have no fucking sodas in the house. I'm on H2O right now, man.
Oh, that's actually probably a good thing.
Oh, you're right. No, 100%. But I want bad shit.
I do. Yeah,
I want the
exactly.
bad shit.
Exactly. I want bad shit. And to make myself look a little more sophisticated, I'm going to be drinking it out of a coffee.
Oh, that's sick. I'm drinking my water out of a Sonic the Hedgehog cup. So like,
But that's you though.
it's true. I have a figure there too.
Yeah. That's very you.
That's me.
So Lucas, tell me, did you check out any of that live stream that Toho does during Godzilla Day?
I will level with you. I think when they were having it, when was it again? Forgive me.
It was on the third, but
Okay.
they're not quite 12 hours different from us, I guess, but because I know when it started, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning
Yeah,
where
I
I was.
definitely wasn't up for any of that, but like I'm like 90%. Yeah, I probably just wasn't up for it. And also, I'm like 90% sure I was going through it, so it was like I don't care.
Yeah.
I was looking at the fucking news that was coming out of it. I didn't watch all of the news short. I watched some of it, and it was cool. Don't get me wrong; those are always really fun.
Oh,
There,
I watched it.
yeah. The one other the fucking thing that was actually right in my territory, to be honest with you. They announced a new Digimon V Pet, which is that's a crossover with Godzilla, and then they showed promo art that's like a Godzilla crossed with War Greymon. I'm like, damn, that's fucking
Hmm.
tight. That's
See, I
cool as
didn't
fuck.
I didn't know that because again, that's like something that I could care less about.
Yeah.
And like I always hate saying that because like you like Antonio and all of them are like
Yeah.
really interested in some of this like some of you guys are like you really like Pokemon and everything
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that, and I'm always like I could fucking care less
yeah. Well,
about
yeah.
that stuff. But talk about a giant man in a rubber lizard suit stomping miniature cities, and I'm all over it.
Oh yeah, makes
You know?
sense. Makes sense.
I gotta also tell you, I have been exploring Ultraman like there's no tomorrow.
Oh fuck yeah, fuck yeah.
I finally finished Ultra 7.
Cool, cool.
That was fun. Ultraman Jack is still overall my favorite of the Showa series.
Hmm, hmm.
I really liked Ultraman Jack or Return of Ultraman.
Yeah,
Ultraman Ace is a trip, and so is Ultraman Leo.
yeah, yeah.
The tonal shifts that both of those shows have is ridiculous. And what's the one after? Is it
Is it?
Ultraman Taro?
I was gonna say I think it's Taro.
That is
Yeah, is that?
I
Yeah,
kind of love it because it's so off the walls bonkers.
yeah,
It's so bonkers. That's the one also where I showed you that clip.
yeah.
Where
With the
where they
dance.
had the dance off.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh man. But Godzilla did turn 70. I did watch that short that they always do.
Yeah,
And I always like how they progressively get better
yeah,
as they
yeah.
go along.
100%.
Was I hoping they were going to do MechaGodzilla in this one, keeping up the kind of tradition?
Hmm.
Because at first they did Ghidorah, then they did Gigan, then they did a little bit of Jet Jaguar from Megalon,
Yeah.
and now they were going to do one. No, they had King Ghidorah, which they used the suit. They used the suit from GMK,
That was a
the
GMK.
Ghidorah suit.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. Actually, yeah. Now that I
yeah.
really think about it.
And I know that those suits were preserved, and I know that that final war suit that Godzilla that they used for Godzilla, and that I believe that was the promotions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think I remember hearing that too.
they need to retire that thing soon because it is clearly starting to fall apart, especially around the neck, which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, yeah.
Jet Jaguar looked fantastic.
Yeah, is that like a new Jet Jaguar? That was like a new suit they made though, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
an all new suit.
yeah.
Um, Full classic Jet Jaguar. There's one scene where suddenly he's on the ground, he just goes,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
I actually laughed out loud
Yeah.
so hard when I saw him do that. I was like, yeah, our boy's back.
He gets fucking Gigan claws too at one point.
I know, that was awesome.
That
I
was
was like, I was like, what are they talking about? Are they going to give him like a samurai sword? What are they doing? Actually, what I was picturing was something like in MechaGodzilla 2, where you have like that jet that kind of attaches
yeah,
to
yeah.
MechaGodzilla's spikes, and he's got the giant lasers.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to see
The
use Gigan's claws.
the Gigan claws made me think of like in Super Sentai Power Rangers. There's always like a thing called a Battleizer for the Red Ranger that basically gives him like armor in like a super mode, and that's what that made me think of.
Oh, that's probably what they were.
I would not be
referencing.
shocked at all.
I know in the previous year, there's this really awesome shot where it's this low angle looking up, and it literally follows Jaguar charging and then him fighting Godzilla, and it's all one long take.
Yeah.
And it's done from these really low angles, and I'm like, wow, like that actually looks on par, if not better, than what we're seeing in the Ultraman series now. I'm
Yeah.
like, this looks fantastic. Which is it's so leaps and bounds better too.
Yeah.
Compared to the Godzilla versus Ghidorah one that they did, where it was all shot outside, all
Yeah.
with natural lighting.
I like that one.
Godzilla's mouth didn't move.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it
do
was
like
a
that one, yeah.
cool fan film because that's all it was. But then all of a sudden it did really well, and Toho was like, "We'll
Keep
give you
doing
some
Yeah,
resources."
keep doing them.
And every year they've just progressively upped it, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's awesome though. Like,
this is really cool.
Yeah.
They didn't do a 3D animated one this year. I didn't see.
nah, I don't think so. I think it was just the Jet Jaguar one,
Yeah,
the Jet
because-
Jaguar Ghidorah one.
Godzilla versus Gigan Rex was the peak for those ones. That one was really cool.
That was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
And then the Megalon one was pretty decent too, because they actually made Megalon kind of badass.
I gotta be honest. I don't think I've seen the Megalon one. To be
Yeah, I
honest.
recommend it if you
Yeah.
can. I think it's on archive.org. I
That's
think
good.
you could find it there.
Because they
Um,
just can't stay up for some reason. Just
Yeah, because Toho's weird.
like oh no, people get to
Oh,
watch
no.
it still. Like
Like I already know, like I'm gonna have to cut out all of like the pre-live live stream one because I was using Echoes of Love from the end credits of Godzilla versus Space Godzilla.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that one's going to get copywritten like there's
Yeah.
no tomorrow. um, these shorts make me want Toho and Super Riot to team up to do a Godzilla series. Apparently, there's kind of bad blood between the two.
Yeah, has it always been though?
I think that's always been the case because Toho has never been a fan. They've only teamed up a couple of times. As far as I know, they've actually only teamed up one notable time, and that was Daigoro versus Goliath in the 70s, which ends with, I believe, Daigoro, I think, taking a shit in an outhouse, a giant outhouse they built for him. And
tight.
I'm on board. I don't know.
Save, dude.
But I just know that they didn't like Super Riot for a while when he started making Ultra Q and Ultraman because he was cannibalizing a lot of stuff from Toho and was just pocketing the money.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I can kind of understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it was a great little short. It got a little emotional there towards the end. I guess you didn't finish it, but you know.
Yeah.
I always am a sucker for when Godzilla has to team up with a foe.
Oh yeah.
Like they're fighting each other. I mean, it's a trope. You know, it's one of the biggest tropes in Godzilla where Godzilla has to team up with who he was fighting just earlier to beat a bigger threat.
Yeah.
You know, most recently Godzilla versus Kong and Godzilla X Kong.
Yeah, exactly.
That trope.
Yeah.
All the way back to Ghidorah the three-headed monster was that a big trope. So how have you been celebrating the Big G?
How have I been celebrating the Big G? Well, literally today, I was fully like reorganizing my figure collection. To be honest with you, like not even as a joke, I was doing that a lot today. Because I finally got like the MechaGodzilla Ghidorah recently that I've been sitting on for years. And it's great, but like I needed to like really kind of start reorganizing a little bit over. You can't see it's not in any of the frame here. It's like all the way over there, but like it's so having fun with that, you know. I really wanted to go see -1 again because it was in theaters for a bit, but I had no fucking time. Like
yeah.
And yeah, you know, just talking with friends about them and everything, you know. That's what I've been doing.
I really wanted to see -1 again in theaters too.
Yeah.
But I didn't, and I couldn't. Timing was all bad.
Yeah. I got it.
But I will say this though, it's not like I haven't been watching any Godzilla movies. And you know what, really, Godzilla -1 and Godzilla X Kong were actually the only Godzilla films I've been watching recently.
Okay.
Well, I've watched in recent, and like I haven't really watched any Godzilla films since you and I kind of had the discussion on Godzilla X Kong.
Yeah.
Just because I've seen them all so much that like I know them by heart. But with Godzilla turning 70, I decided I was going to rewatch the era I like the least.
Okay.
Because I've watched them the least. And that was the Millennium era.
Yeah, I figured that was the one.
Yeah, I rewatched the Millennium era from 2000 all the way to Final Wars. And total treat. It really was a total treat. It's still my least favorite era overall, despite it having what I think to be 3 outstanding entries, and then it has 3 okay entries.
Yeah.
So it's kind of 50-50 in my humble opinion. But
what are your outstanding ones?
Oh, we're gonna do this.
I just thought I'd ask. That's all.
Godzilla 2000, I think, is outstanding. I love Godzilla 2000.
Can agree.
GMK.
Oh yeah.
And Final Wars.
Thank God. All right, we're in the same boat.
Final Wars is so balls to the wall insane. It's like, how can I not love
I think Final Wars is like a case where it's like, this is what what people think Godzilla is when they just see it. And I'm like, in the case of Final Wars, I'm like, I'm so glad that's what people think it is all the time.
Oh yeah. And it's like, I can't believe it took me as an adult to appreciate it more, because I remember as a kid being like, this fucking sucks.
I
Like
was
I
the
didn't like
opposite.
it when I
I
was
was
a
the
kid,
opposite.
but as I grew older, I was like, no, no, this is great. This is great. Adam, shut the fuck up. What were you thinking, you stupid little brat
Bro,
thing?
how the fuck could I hate the fucking main villain going Gaigon? Like that's the fucking raddest shit.
Rise.
The raddest fuck. And fucking Gaigon cracks through the fucking stone that he's frozen in.
Oh
Like
yeah, it's great. It's
that is
great.
fuck.
I mean, I don't know why, but I also love that fight between the humans and Ebera.
Oh yeah, it's tight.
Like that scene, like there's something about like I don't think that scene would work without the music.
No, no, not at all.
And also, I think that's the only movie in the Millennium era. That's not really true, because I like the American cut to Godzilla 2000 a lot more than the Japanese cut. But it's like out of all those classic dubs
Mhm.
that we got from most of the Millennium era, that's the only one where I'm like, I can only watch the dub
Yeah, Final Wars dub
because
works. It works.
because it's so cheesy.
Yeah.
It like works. Plus, we get to hear Gordon
Hell yeah. Hell
the most
yeah.
charismatic mustache I have ever seen.
I also need to shout out Final Wars 2 solely because it has a Sum 41 song, and I am incredibly biased
Absolutely.
to Sum 41. It plays for
I
like 3 seconds, but man, it's there.
It's awesome. It's the
Fuck
best
yeah,
three
it is.
seconds of that song too.
Fuck yeah, it is.
It is every time I hear some 41 on the 31 or 41
40, 41, 41.
41. Every time I see them pop up on the radio, I go, oh, Godzilla Final Wars. That's the band for Godzilla Final Wars.
See, I've always been a big Sum 41 head, so.
No, I
it's a
totally
treat.
I totally heard them from
Yeah.
Godzilla Final Wars. But that movie's just fun. It's so balls to the wall insane. It literally has everything and the kitchen sink in it
Yep.
to the point that it's so ridiculously overbloated that it embraces everything that makes this Godzilla insane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
100%.
the pure insanity of Godzilla. And it shows, you know.
Yeah.
It actually, I think I remember the moment where I actually said, no, I think I like Final Wars now. And it was because I watched Ryuri Kitamura's one of his previous films. I watched Versus, which is an outstanding film. And after watching Versus, suddenly it was like, oh, I get it now. It took me seeing his other work for me to go, oh, I get it. Oh well. But yeah, rewatch those. Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, I actually enjoyed a lot more than I remembered.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love, genuinely, the first 30 minutes of that movie.
Okay.
Because I love the world building in it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it establishes that this is the Godzilla from 1954 did not die. That there is no Dr. Zarazawa, there is no oxygen destroyer. That he just appears every once in a while. I like the fact that they include the detail that Tokyo was destroyed so badly that Japan moved their capital to Osaka.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay. I like the fact that there's a small brigade fighting Godzilla with these missiles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. It was an interesting twist on, the JSDF fighting Godzilla. It's also reminiscent of the much lower budget that film had.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just like the universe. I like the introduction to that universe's G-force.
Mm-hmm.
I like it up until Mechaguirus shows
No.
up.
How could you say that?
After that, I'm like, oh, now it's just a generic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty generic. I do like the fact that Godzilla is swatting at all the little tiny dragonflies like they're mosquitoes, and I'm like, I relate.
For me, it's the belly flop.
I'm like, it doesn't fit the tone of this movie at all.
Never said it fit. Never said it fit. I just said it made me. I liked it. It made me laugh.
It just doesn't fit at all.
You don't like when Mechagearus' eyes widen? For
No,
like,
no, Lucas, I don't.
Damn, no way. I haven't seen that movie in years. Also, I will.
I recommend giving it
Yeah.
another watch. I really do.
I'd probably like it.
Because I remember thinking it was an okay movie, and I lean or like it was 50-50. Like,
Mhm.
it was equal parts good, equal parts bad. But this recent viewing, I was like, no, I liked it more than I remembered.
Cool.
Especially, like, there's just one scene where they discover, like, the dead MechaGodzilla on in the ocean, and all of a sudden Godzilla shows up. And our main character kind of, like, rides Godzilla for a little bit and shoots a tracker onto him.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
That hasn't been done before with Godzilla. I like that a
yeah.
lot. That was really
That was
cool.
definitely dope. Dope.
Great soundtrack too.
Hmm.
By Michiru Oshima, I think is her name.
Okay.
Apparently she worked on Metal. No, she worked really famous anime. I'm gonna look her up.
I just want to really quick acknowledge in the chat, really quick, DragonClaw95. What's your name? X.
X.
I had to
Yes.
just acknowledge that really quick too.
See, she did the score for Versus Megaguirus against MechaGodzilla and Tokyo SOS,
Hmm.
and she did the television series Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist, the movie.
Really?
Yeah,
Did she do Brotherhood also?
doesn't look it.
Yeah, because Full Metal. So really quick, Full Metal Alchemist, like the first anime series, it was like as the manga was being written, so like it completely derails during it. It's not bad, it just derails. And then
She's done a
Brotherhood's like,
lot of anime.
oh okay, that's cool.
Project Blue.
I've heard of it, never watched it myself.
It doesn't look like she did Brotherhood.
Yeah, because Brotherhood's the one that directly adapts the manga and is fucking amazing.
Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, she did some of the music on.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, she's done a lot of shit. And honestly, other than Ifukube's theme, the theme,
Yeah, yeah.
Godzilla's theme, her theme for Godzilla is my second favorite that he's ever had. It's so good that I recognize it just from the first drum beat.
Okay, okay.
Because I don't know if you know it.
I don't remember off the top off the top.
Yeah, it's the bum 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 bum.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then it goes into a bit of a military,
Yeah,
a dark military march,
yeah.
and it's awesome. And I
You
got
also
to also
yeah.
applaud the score for Godzilla against MechaGodzilla, because I found out listening to it, it's my second favorite Godzilla score, and I was listening to it, I was like, wow, this sounds so much bigger than the other scores in this series. And I found out it was because they were actually able to use the Moscow Philharmonic Orchestra
Mhm.
for that film, for that film soundtrack. And it's like, that's why it's so much bigger. Yeah, I just like those scores a lot.
Nice.
Ironically, those are for the three mediocre
Yeah.
ones.
You did
Unfortunately,
remind
but
me.
they have.
I also did listen to on the anniversary day. It was also partially because of the big announcement that day. Was the Godzilla Suite 2 for -1. I listened to the one that mixes the Mothra theme 2 during the ship fight.
Oh yes.
I was listening to that for a bit too because that's like such a fucking awesome track in that movie.
Well,
Yeah.
that soundtrack is just fucking phenomenal. In
Also
general.
correct. Also correct.
Yeah. So yeah, I rewatched the Millennium Era. That's
Nice,
how I
nice.
celebrated God.
Hell yeah.
I just hadn't seen those movies in a long time, and yeah, I enjoyed it, especially GMK. What a treat that
GMK's
was.
always fuck. That movie's just always like
It's
good.
so good.
Like,
It's so good.
I don't think like that. I feel like that movie is like a movie that did some black magic where it's just like always consistently good. Like you watch it like
Yeah.
after like a few years you haven't seen it, I'm like, damn, this shit is fucking banging still.
That was another movie where I remember I hated the monster designs in that film when I was a kid.
Mhm.
But I liked the movie.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, I'm like, no, those designs are great. They
Yeah.
fit perfectly with the tone of that movie.
100%. Yeah.
Especially zombie Godzilla.
Oh, scary. Scary.
Well, he is in that film.
Yes.
He's like a fucking serial killer in
Yeah.
that movie. Well, I think it kind of fits because in that film he's
The ghosts of like
he's the ghosts of all of those killed in the Pacific because
Yeah.
of the Japanese in World War II, and I'm like, that's not a light subject.
No.
Because Japan has forgotten. And I'm like, okay. I also like to think that, and I guess this isn't really true, but I also like to think that they resurrected the 54 Godzilla.
Mhm. Mhm.
and that's what it is. I guess that's not true for some supplemental material that Toho released after the film,
Okay.
but I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's
It's
fair. I
not in
gotcha.
the movie. It's my headcanon. I don't care.
I was thinking the fact that they just made Ghidorah like a good guy, like that's like
Oh yeah,
unheard of.
yeah,
Is like he's always like the antithesis bad guy Godzilla villain, and it's like no, he's the savior this time around.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I like it. I love it.
it's great. It's great how it just fucking like plays on like what you already know that's established with Godzilla and just kind of turns it a little bit, just like some little
Yeah,
twist with
just
it. But it
yeah,
always it
yeah.
works. Like
It does. It completely works. Um,
Baragon is also
I
in it, so that's a plus.
Baragon, and he's so adorable.
Yeah, yes, yeah, 100%.
He's so adorable. Have you seen the behind the scenes footage
Yeah,
of the girl
yep,
that was like,
yep.
"Rah!"
Way!
I just wish they used that as this roar.
Not even an actual. It's just that.
Just Godzilla just hears it, just starts laughing.
Yeah, that would make Baragon getting fucking blasted into oblivion 10 times worse. It sounded cute.
I
He
still
didn't
like the
deserve it.
fact that in that movie, Godzilla still kicks all three of the Guardian monsters' ass. He just kicks all of their ass. And it's one of the few Godzillas where a character actually says "fuck"
Oh,
in the
fuck.
film.
Wait, is it
Yeah,
really?
there's
That
one
never
one of the
occurred to me.
submarine pilots at the end of the film, because there's two submarines
Yeah,
that go down in there.
yeah.
He says "fuck" when he accidentally shoots King Ghidorah, and if you watch the subtitles, it says "fuck,"
Hell
and I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh."
Hell yeah. Of like
I was
all
like,
the
"What?"
Millennium movies, like the one I really honestly I don't remember that well is Tokyo SOS. I really don't remember that movie at all.
That's okay.
Yeah. Oh really? That's not good.
That's okay. It is a very mediocre movie.
Yeah.
The biggest reason why it's mediocre is because it doesn't carry over any of the
Yeah.
characters from the previous film, and I'm like, it needed to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really like that was like the biggest wasted opportunity. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Hmm.
I mean, it was the same filmmaker, same writer, same everything. Why they
Yeah.
couldn't do that, I don't know. It was just a horribly wasted opportunity, and the movie didn't do very well.
Ah.
Yeah, movie didn't do any well, which is why Shogo Tomiyama, who took over for Tomoyuki Tanaka, said, and I quote, "Well, we'll make one more movie and go balls to the wall with it." And that movie also bombed. Final Wars was a big bomb.
Dang it.
It was. You know what's really interesting that I find interesting is
What?
that Godzilla 2000 was a very rushed movie,
Hmm.
and it was a direct response to 98.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it was rushed.
Yeah.
And if you look at the budget for that film, it's about half of what the Heisei era film were for budget. It had less than $10 million, like
Yeah.
$7 to $8 million. And I'm like, wow, it looks really good for some really
Oh, yeah.
questionable composite effects, but I kind of admired the what's it called? The experimentation that they did in that film.
Yeah. Yeah. I
There's
get
a
you.
lot of compositing Godzilla into real shots of Tokyo and like real environments,
Yeah.
and some of them work better than others.
I-
But
Yeah. To
the
me, like
only
I remember
the,
like the underwater shots were like the CG they used.
yeah,
in
or they used the CG
That's not really
Godzilla,
fair.
and that
It's
was
like that was like
pretty
the time
bad.
period. Yeah, it was early and everything. Like so, like
But there's only actually one big set that they made in that film. I realized by at the end of the film, and I was like, that was the one where Godzilla fights Orga,
yeah, yeah,
and I'm like, wow, okay. And they clearly put a lot of work into the miniatures on that because it looks outstanding.
yeah.
It helps that Godzilla in the Millennium series, with the exception of Final Wars, is back to his original height from the Showa era.
Hmm.
So they can put way more detail in the miniatures,
Yeah,
which is insane to me because you compare how Godzilla, he's shorter in all of the Millennium eras, with the exception of one film. Yet he consistently looks so much bigger than he does in the Heisei era.
hmm,
Because the Heisei era, again, it's my favorite of the eras overall. Visually, it is a very lacking series.
yeah, yeah,
I think there's too many flat shots, too many. It's almost like it was shot for TV.
yeah. Oh
Where
yeah,
everything is
I
just
get
kind
what
of
you're saying.
safe.
100%.
Everything is just kind of like a medium wide.
Yeah.
And usually the camera, instead of being like really down low looking up, tends to be more at eye level.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Particularly from Godzilla versus Mothra through Destoroyah.
Yeah.
I noticed it pretty bad there. In Godzilla vs. Biollante, which is the first one that special effects director Koichi Kawakita did, they did some really great experimentation
Oh
in
yeah.
that film for special effects. Some things that worked, some that didn't. Um, and one of my favorite examples of that is they got this really low shot of Godzilla walking, and you see like the buildings kind of going past him.
Yeah.
And to achieve that look, they actually just kind of had Godzilla on like a treadmill,
Hmm.
and all they did was move the building.
Oh, that's sick. That's cool.
And I'm like, oh, that looks really cool.
Yeah. I mean,
It looked
also
really cool.
for Biollante, I have to mention it because you brought up the special effects for the movie. Well, um, Biollante herself is like one of my favorite practical
Incredible.
effects of all time. Like it's
Yeah,
like she's up there with
incredible.
like the Alien Queen, the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. Like she is like one of my favorite. When Biollante fucking runs is still one of the scariest fucking scenes in a Godzilla movie to me. That thing should
I
not
like
run.
that.
It
I
should not run.
really,
Like
it
it's
shouldn't.
scary. It's
I
scary.
remember really liking the juxtaposition between the absolutely horrific design Biollante has, even in her rose form.
Yeah.
It's kind of grotesque. Like she has that
Yeah.
organ
Yeah.
sac and everything like
Yeah.
that. Um, but she's a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that juxtaposition because it goes into the whole themes of building a chimera and genetic manipulation
Mhm.
and all of that within the film. And
Yeah.
should we really be doing this
Yeah. Totally.
kind of deal? And even though we agree with Dr. Shiragami's desperation because that rose is the last bit of his daughter
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
has,
Yeah. Nah, it's a
should
good
he
one.
have done it? He
It's a
turned
great
what was this beautiful thing, memory of his daughter that he wouldn't let go, into this monster.
Yeah.
And it plays into the Biollante is a good film.
It's a
It's a
great.
really good
No,
film,
it's a good one. It's a really good one.
despite the bad English.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the really
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
English. I was actually thinking about because Jim Frasca expressed some interest in it because he had no idea Space Godzilla was a thing.
Oh.
And he messaged me. He was like, Adam, why didn't you tell me there was a Space Godzilla?
That
And I was like, oh yeah, there's a Space Godzilla.
there's an explanation as to why Space Godzilla exists. People still debate about it to this day.
Yes, yes. They could have easily avoided that had they just said Mothra was what carried
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
bit of Godzilla out there into space, but no, they had to
No.
bring Biollante
Yeah.
into it.
Leave her out of this.
Well, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah doesn't make a lick of sense. The movie does the plot holes in Godzilla versus King Ghidorah are big enough that you could probably throw Godzilla through it.
It's got the door.
But I don't let's love that movie. Like genuinely love that movie.
It's good. It's good. It's fun.
I just adore it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's got the Dorats. It's got the Godzillasaurus.
Really cool shit. The return of Akira Ifukube to doing the music for the film, and boy howdy did he return with a bang.
It's got the guy who's like, Godzilla's my friend, and then when he finally reunites with him, he gets fucking blasted into oblivion. Like, it's great.
Yeah, that's not what happens, but okay.
Wait, am I getting confused with 2000? Because doesn't that happen in 2000 also?
No, Godzilla 2000, you have that character Katagiri.
Oh, okay. I think.
And in that film, Katagiri hates Godzilla.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
his job to kill Godzilla.
Yeah.
And he knows he's fucked. And he knows he's fucked. And I love how he just pulls out a cigarette and starts smoking. He's like, I've never seen Godzilla this close before.
Yeah.
And he just knows he's fucked.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cheesy that he screams Godzilla to the top of his lungs before Godzilla kills him. Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter which version of that film you watch, but it works.
Yeah.
Now, the one with Shindo is... Mr. Shindo is the one where he sees Godzilla through the window and Godzilla blasts him with his atomic breath. But a lot of people think that he's saying Godzilla won't kill me, and I'm like, no, he's telling Godzilla to kill him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He's not doing the other way around. Mr. Shindo, who's my second favorite character Human
No, he's
character.
a great character. Like,
And
all joking aside, he's a great character. I'm gonna just shoot in the shit, but
but I love the fact that that's an interesting film because that film, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, and I think what makes it work so well is it examines Godzilla's relationship with Japan.
hmm
Is he a savior? Is he the destroyer?
hmm
What the hell is he?
he's just a guy,
And that, yeah, he's just a dude.
hanging
He's
out.
just a dude dressed up as a kaiju, pretending to be another dude.
Just wants to crack some brewskis on the weekend. That's all. Like, let, let Godzilla drink. Damn it.
Fucking film.
Yeah.
Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. That fucking film is so insane.
Yeah. The
I
effects.
mean,
I mean, like Ghidorah. The Ghidorah. Wow. The
Ghidorah's
Ghidorah
pretty
effects in
cool.
that movie are awesome. Like,
Ghidorah's pretty cool.
yeah,
And I like the new origin he has.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
like
cool.
how it really ties
Cool.
him to Godzilla in that
Yeah,
film because despite Godzilla only being in the film for 9 minutes, it feels like his movie.
yeah.
Like they're constantly talking about him and building him up, and then when he shows up, everyone's like, "Yeah!" And then he kills King Ghidorah, and everyone's like, "Oh shit!"
I didn't think he'd do it.
Well, I love that.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I love that. The moment he kills King Ghidorah, first off, my favorite Godzilla suit is F.
Mhm, mhm.
My favorite Godzilla roar, Akira Ifukube. I mean, come on, but I just love. Look at that thing. There's no way he's gonna help us. Quote. And that's what I love about that, and I love how the people from the future are like, I don't know. I just thought the people from Japan would be desperate to stop us, so they might do something stupid like, I don't know, revive Godzilla.
I've got some news for you.
He's only made with modern nuclear weapons. Of course, he's bigger than he was before. I just love it. I just love it how they were like, yes, we need to stop King Ghidorah, so we're going to remake Godzilla. Godzilla fights King Ghidorah, and of course, Godzilla wins. Well, fuck. Now we have Godzilla destroying everything. So what are we gonna do? Well, let's bring back King Ghidorah.
Bring Ghidorah back. We need him.
And I'm like, this is insane.
Ghidorah, wake up. We're not done with you yet.
This is insane, and I love it.
Yeah, no, it's
I
awesome.
love it.
It's sick.
It was a brilliant mixture of Showa era insanity with Heisei era technology and
Yeah, yeah.
themes.
Yeah.
It's really great. In fact, I'd argue that that was the most insane one of the Heisei era, which they're now up on not only HBO Max, they're also on Criterion.
Ooh, ooh.
So Criterion is just waiting for Kraken to lose the rights to, I think it's MechaGodzilla 2, Space Godzilla, and Destoroyah. And once those rights are up, Janus is going to snatch it up,
Here we go.
and we're going to get a box set.
I hope
We
so.
are. I hope so too.
And if they make another one, please, for the love of God, make the packaging fucking normal. Like, don't make it one of those big fucking book things again.
I love the packaging for the Arrow Gamera.
Yeah, those are. I mean, those are just because they're normal fucking packaging. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
with a ton of awesome art. Like it's great. It's like also the packaging doesn't damage the DVDs over time. The DVDs, Jesus, the Blu-rays over time if you leave them in there for too long. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking with that, man.
Also,
like,
I can also say this was with certainty. I think the Japanese Blu-rays for the Heisei series
mm-hmm,
are gorgeous.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think the one for Return of Godzilla is a little flat,
Okay.
but all the others look great, and they didn't try to get rid of the film grain by adding a denoise filter over it, making the image soft. Same with the Millennium era.
Mm-hmm.
The Japanese version of Godzilla 2000 has this really kind of annoying green hue over
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
film, but it still looks fine, and I like the film grain, particularly in the low light scenes. It kind of gives sort of grungy, low budget feel that
Gotcha.
works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like it. But I remember in particular the one for Godzilla against MechaGodzilla. There's a lot of film grain on it, and I'm like, this. It's actually shot on film, and it looks really cool because of it. And honestly, if Criterion used, those prints, which because they'd have to use whatever Toho gives them, I'd be a-okay.
Yeah, I'm.
I'd be like, absolutely. And unlike the Showa era Blu-rays that Criterion releases, that I didn't get because I didn't need to. I have every one of these films already.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes in what I think are better quality. And there's no real additional special features that I haven't seen before
I gotcha. Yeah.
on that packet. So I wouldn't really want them. In this particular case, yes, I would buy the Heisei box set because I want them all in one consistent
Yeah.
packaging.
I mean, that's why I love the Showa one so much. Is that it was that entire era in just one package at the village, so I could just have access to it. You know, just the availability of it in general is like.
Criterion did just re-release a 4K restoration of the original Godzilla, and it looks phenomenal.
I heard about that. I heard about it actually. Yeah. My friend got it. Actually, told me it's great.
I'm not gonna lie, Lucas. The Criterion restoration of the original Godzilla looks better than the Japanese restoration.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. The Japanese restoration has darker darks and lighter lights, so it's a little more contrasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which looks cool. It does look cool, but the slickness and the grunge of the Criterion Collection version, I just think nails it.
That's sick. That's really cool.
It just nails it. Am I going to buy the 4K restoration, Martin? No. I don't see any need to.
Nah.
It's
amazing. It's one of the best renders. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Speaking of 4K restorations, Lucas, have you checked out any of the side-by-sides of those 4K releases of the Showa era films that Toho has been putting out there?
I have. Yeah, I've seen some.
Oh, dude.
They're nice.
And I can say this because I have it. The 4K restoration, the Mothra versus Godzilla, is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's good. It's good shit.
It's so good. Can't wait to do that. I haven't seen the one for Ghidorah yet.
I was gonna say, because did they do all the Showa films?
Or... Not yet.
Because I feel like I saw some stuff for Ghidorah. I was like, ooh, this looks fucking good.
Yeah, they did one for Ghidorah, and I think why they did one for Ghidorah was because it was reaching its anniversary.
That's probably how I remember it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And it looked great.
Yeah.
It looks great, even though that's like one of the few ones from the Criterion set, aka the Toho restorations, that I actually really like because it's a grungy look. It's got this sort of brownish green hue over the whole film. And I'm like, that kind of hue really fits with the low budget experimental themes of that film. And I'm like, yeah, if the print looks dirty, I'm more than okay with it because it's a dirty film.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Godzilla is literally getting shit on
the
entire film. So.
Like, if it doesn't look like it look kind of gross, is it truly Godzilla versus Ghidorah?
Exactly. Dragon Claw. Actually, you know what? I could pull up the chat. Just.
Oh my god.
I don't know what it's called, but I have the box set where it has Godzilla 54, Raids Again, Mothra vs. Godzilla. That is their Dragon Claw is the classic media set.
Is that the one where the stylized box arts?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a few
well,
of those.
Well, it had a consistent box art. I really like the aesthetics of those films where it was like a gray box. Then it had like the Japanese poster in it.
Oh, not the ones I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of like earlier ones where it was like that one box that had like all like kind of like the style. I could grab one of them actually really quick. Hold on. 1 second.
Yeah.
1 second. Absolutely.
No, the classic media ones I think get a bad rep while Lucas is gone. I know that the quality of the movies aren't that great. Like if you look at the prints that they use, not that great.
I have bad news.
What?
I can't seem to find them. I think I might not have.
You were gone for like 5 seconds, Lucas.
My movie rack is right there. It's literally right over here.
I'm disappointed.
I'm sorry. Let me go upstairs. Let me delay this stream even more and run upstairs to my parents' room where they're probably all sleeping right now and be like, "Hey, have you guys seen this?" Nah, yeah, I can't find them. But like, it was the set that had like King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Mothra, Godzilla's Revenge, Rodan,
Oh,
those ones.
yes.
Those ones. Yeah.
Oh, that and they had like it was like the VHS rip on the
Yeah. Yeah.
DVDs. Awful set, but it was one of the first sets I've ever had.
Yeah. I had that. And I
I
know the
always
ones you're
thought it was
talking about
so
here, though.
cool.
Because
Yeah,
I think I have Astro Monster in that one.
I have all of them.
Yeah.
I have all of them because, of course, I do. But what was really cool about those classic media DVDs, regardless of the quality of the,
Yeah.
which were lackluster, but they were good for what they were on a DVD. Remember, you're putting 2 movies on a DVD, and
Yeah.
DVDs don't have as much room on them as a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
They always included the American version and the Japanese version.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was awesome. I loved that. And also the classic media DVD for Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster has David Callett's audio commentary, and that remains to be my favorite audio commentary of all time. It is unbelievably entertaining, unbelievably informative, funny,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just a damn good audio commentary. And honestly, made me like the American cut more than the Japanese cut of that film from a structural standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, the American cut, is structured very differently to the Japanese version.
Mm-hmm.
You know, scenes were
moved
rearranged
around
a bit. Yeah. Yeah. You see, Martin, you're saying here, you're fine with just 1080p. So am I.
Yeah.
And I have a
so,
big 4K TV now that can do UHD, but I'm like, do I really want to upgrade? Am I getting anything?
Yeah.
Hell, there's even like I have those Tokyo Shock DVDs for like Frankenstein Conquers the World, Matango.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can list them all. I'm such a loser.
On the clock. On the clock. Tick tock. Tick tock.
Here's what I've got. I've got the Tokyo Shock DVDs for the Mysterians, Varan, Matango, Atragon, War in Space, the Jun Fukuda movie, and Dogora. Oh, and Frankenstein Conquers the World. So I have those. And those are just DVDs.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that the Blu-rays are out there and they look gorgeous for all of those movies, particularly Frankenstein Conquers the World. Am I going to get those Blu-rays? Yeah. Because they're not going to add anything to special features on those movies already. There's nothing new. So I'm just going to keep the DVD. There's nothing to add to it. That's what dictates if I upgrade media is special features.
Yeah, it's just more content for you too also, so it's like
Yeah.
I feel you.
Add a filter for you.
A filter?
Yeah, you have a bit of a hiss going on that take care of it.
It's just my snake outlet run around the room just for fun.
Ah, yes, it's Manda.
Yeah, it's just it's like Russian roulette if I step on them or not, and I get like injected with toxin and I die. You know, like as everyone does when they have a snake, they just let it run around and see what play a gamble. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was honestly thinking it was.
Yeah,
I was
100%.
Yeah. Exactly. There you go. I took care of the hiss. You're all right. Everyone's okay.
Well, I'm gonna have to find him later.
Godzilla anyway. Kiru, glad to see that you got the Varan. Dude, listen to the audio commentary on that. I know it's Japanese, so you have to kind of read it with subtitles. But the guy who did the commentary just died. And he was one of the last of the old guard. And he was the guy who sculpted. This was his first movie, was Varan, and he sculpted the design of Varan, and he kind of made it his. His commentary is fantastic because you want to know what it was like living in Japan back then, trying to get a job working in that industry in Japan back then, how he was only living on a cup of rice per day for a while, how he had to live with Eiji Tsuburaya for a little bit because he couldn't afford a home and couldn't do anything. Not only does it establish what kind of a character Tsuburaya was and why people had this sort of cult around him, why they loved him so much, but it also it's a good time capsule to what it was like in the film industry back then and how little resources they had to work Kazuo Maruse, something like that. Justin Tang. Oh, I knew you'd come. I
Eh,
knew you would solve this.
eh.
Keizo um, Murase. Keizo
Mhm,
Murase. Outstanding commentary. Those commentaries on those discs, by the way, are hit and miss. The one for Frankenstein Conquers the World was a big letdown.
mhm.
And a lot of them are like from the actors, and the actors are mainly talking about the careers more than they're talking about the movie itself.
Okay.
They got to take that as it is. But I'll tell you what, that one with Keizo Murase is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal. Um, Hunter Coleman. I don't think I've ever. If you welcome to ANP, I don't think I've ever seen you here before, Hunter. But welcome. Um,
Hello.
Ever seen the American version of Varan? Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Very interesting movie. Very different movie from the Japanese version. It. I don't know if you know this, Lucas, but it's a more extreme version of Godzilla King of the Monsters, where they
Okay.
inserted Raymond Burr.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's very simple.
Okay. Yeah. I really honestly I haven't seen Varan, so I'm a little out of the loop on
We
this
should
one.
watch it.
We should. We should. Oh
We
yeah.
should we should watch it. It's an interesting film. I say it's as generic as it could be for a giant monster. Like it is so boring as a
Okay.
giant monster. Like it does nothing to remember Space Amoeba?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got that kind of vibes where it's like it's
Gotcha.
not doing
Gotcha. Yeah.
anything special. But it does a couple of things.
Mhm.
One is it was the first movie Shinichi Sekizawa ever wrote for Toho.
Okay.
And Shinichi Sekizawa would eventually write Mothra, King Kong vs. Godzilla, Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster,
Okay.
all those classic.
Yeah. Yeah.
He finds a stride. Um, but I will also say this: the cinematography and music in Varan
Yeah. Yeah.
is some of the best. Like visually, it is such a good looking movie.
Okay. Okay.
Varan is a great looking monster, and Ifukube's score is phenomenal.
Okay. Okay.
It's like one of his best, hands down. Um,
I gotta listen. I gotta at the
I
very
don't
least like, take a second to
I
listen to
don't
it.
know why. Listen to it right now. Just type up the Varan the Unbelievable soundtrack and listen to the main titles, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Do it, Lucas. Do it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Do it
Hold on.
now.
Hold
We're
on.
gonna have a
Hold on.
live reaction to Lucas listening to
All
the
right. Main
Varan the Unbelievable
main
score.
title. Main title. Main title.
Yeah, yeah. All right, here we go. Here we go. Got that weird kind of opening,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and then all of a sudden,
Ooh.
bam!
Ooh.
Listen to the whole thing. It's
It's
fantastic.
so intense.
Yeah, it's
For Varan,
fantastic. Yeah. Wait until like you hear the horns come in.
the course is it. They're going.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's great. And then the choir picks up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
This. Why is this so intense?
Yeah, I know, isn't it? It's so great.
Adam, I can barely hear you now over it.
That's what I want.
I paused so I can hear you, but like, no, that's good as shit. Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's great. The entire score is like that. I'm like, I don't know why Ifukube went so hardcore with the score, but he did.
I really like. I'm not joking to you. It kept getting so much more intense. I couldn't hear you.
I really like how like there's you hear like the horns ba da 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 ba
Yeah, yeah,
ba 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 ba
yeah,
ba
yeah,
ba
yeah.
ba. But I love that. I love those ba 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 ba
That was a
over
treat.
the whole thing.
That was a
I'm like,
treat.
oh, it's so good. And that theme would eventually become Rodan's theme.
Hmm.
Um
Hmm.
and stuff like that, because Ifukube reused a lot of his works. Even the Godzilla theme was a
Yeah,
reuse.
yeah.
The march that we know was a reused theme.
Well, even the opening of that
Um,
Varan theme was like very similar to like
he would, yeah.
yeah.
Bum bum bum. Yeah, I think
The
Daimajin uses it.
like
Yeah,
that one like
I think Daimajin uses it, which would eventually turn into the alien theme in Invasion or Monster Zero.
Hmm.
Yeah, he reuses a lot of his own stuff, which I love it because it's Ifukube,
Yeah,
and
I'm not against it. I'm not against it
but I
myself.
understand why people go,
Yeah.
it's just the same thing over and over again. Like, I can understand it. I
Yeah,
can.
I get
But
you. I get you. I get you.
yeah, Varan goes hardcore.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I think I know the answer why. Why why that score is better than average for him. Um and I think it's generally because he got to take two with it.
Hmm.
He had a little bit more time with the score than he usually did. Usually it was like he had a week. That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
The score of him, which is insane. Um but I think he had to take two with that because Varan was originally an American production.
Hmm.
America, an American television company, threw in money to this film, and they specifically wanted it shot in a way where they could insert an American actor into
Okay.
from the beginning. They would have their own crew over in the United States, insert it into the Japanese.
Hmm.
That company went out of business. So Toho was like, "Oh shit. Well, we've already shot it as a 2-episode miniseries.
Yeah.
Each episode being 35, 40 minutes long.
Hmm.
Well, let's just shoot some additional scenes and make it a feature."
Hmm.
And that's what they did.
No. Yeah.
Because
Makes sense.
you can find Ifukube's television version score, and it's about the same. It has all the same themes and everything like that, but because he was able to get a little bit bigger of an orchestra, he was able to retool it
Yeah.
ever
Okay.
so slightly,
Yeah.
and it shows.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense to me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there isn't a choir in the television version,
Hmm.
which if you this is the last thing I'll say about Varan. It's the behind the scenes of the movie is more fascinating than itself. Um uh Edited version of the television series is on the DVD, but the DVD it turns out that the television version of that film is gone.
Oh.
It's missing media.
Oh.
So it's a restoration
Okay.
using footage from the movie.
Oh.
So there's
Okay.
some
Okay.
scenes
I,
in the television version where it just kind of goes to like a still frame
okay.
to kind of try to because all they have is the audio.
Okay.
It's like in some ways it's kind of like the old Doctor Who, where it's like
Gotcha.
all they have are the audio of the
Gotcha. Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh well.
Happy 70-year anniversary, Varan.
A Varan, yeah. Happy 70th anniversary, Varan, the king of the monsters,
Yeah.
the king of the flying squirrels, I should
That's like
say.
like a time traveler steps on a butterfly, and now it's like we're celebrating Varan's 70th instead of
Yes,
Godzilla. And
absolutely.
Godzilla's the
Yes.
obscure one. Godzilla's the obscure one.
I did rewatch the original Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters one with Raymond yesterday, last night,
Ooh.
actually.
Ooh.
Masterpiece.
Yep. Yep. I owe the Raymond Burr one a rewatch. Truthfully,
I
that one,
recommend it.
yeah, I owe it
It's
a
it's
rewatch as an adult, as like an adult.
there's
Like
there's some racism in
I
the movie
I
because
believe
there's
you.
one
I
scene
believe
where
you.
it's like there's one scene where Dr. Yamane is talking and it's from later on in the movie
Hmm.
and you even hear him say Gojira at one point,
Yeah.
but the Americans Raymond Burr and his interpreter are acting like they're talking about something completely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just assuming that we don't understand Japanese. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the thing Terry Morse, who directed the stuff with Raymond Burr, um, loved the original film so much that he always kept a copy of it in his archive.
Hmm.
And he could have easily done something a little bit more like Varan the Unbelievable, where it's the American that comes in and saves the day and does all this. Raymond Burr doesn't do shit in
Yeah.
Godzilla King of the Monsters. He's just watching.
Yeah, he's just kind of a bystander like everyone else and can't really do anything. He's not even like part of like the main. I mean, he's part of the main plot, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And honestly, his narration over the entire film is phenomenal.
Hmm.
Some of the dialogue that happens, like I love the one where the tanks fail and Godzilla burns the street and it captures the tanks and the tanks burn
Yeah,
and it just cuts to him and he goes, "Nothing saved this day."
yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, "Oh, chills."
yeah. I gotta give it a watch as like an adult now and just
It
really.
is on YouTube for free,
Oh, good. Word.
and it is
Oh,
the Criterion restoration.
oh,
So
oh, yeah. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. Oh, and honestly, it's that version of the film we have to thank for making Godzilla an icon.
Yeah, no, totally, totally. Like that.
That was the version that played around the world, not
Yeah,
the Japanese version. Somebody
definitely.
did a fan edit where they cut the two versions of the film together,
That's interesting. That'd be cool to
and it
see.
worked.
Yeah,
It
I'd
actually
like to watch that
works.
actually. That sounds
Yeah,
cool.
I think it's on archive.org.
Mhm.
Um, but it works. It works because it's almost you can almost treat these like two different perspectives of the same event
Yeah,
if you
that's
watch
kind of
them
how I'm
back to
seeing it,
back.
imagining it in my head too. Actually, now that you propose it, that's kind of how I'm imagining it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's an interesting experiment. I'm not saying it completely works, um, but it certainly for the most part presents itself as that, and I think that's one reason why I like King of the Monsters so much.
Hmm.
Is despite the fact that it inserts a guy into the film, it still feels like that movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get what you're
it's even
saying.
shot like even Terry Morris copied the directorial style of Ishiro Honda to
Hmm.
try to match the footage more. And I'm like, I think that deserves credit. I really do.
I can agree with you. No, 100%.
And remember, this was 50s United States.
Yeah,
We'd only not been at war with Japan for not even a decade at that. Well, it came out in 56. Never mind. Would have been 11. It made perfect sense
hmm,
why they did what they did.
yeah,
And as David Khaled explained in his phenomenal commentary for the film, it was actually, believe it or not, showing the highest level of respect for the original film by
hmm,
doing what they did because they knew it was a good film.
yeah,
They knew they had a money maker. They knew they had the makings of something.
yeah.
Did they have any idea that it would turn into the icon that, it
No, I
did?
mean, of
Absolutely
course not.
not.
Of course not.
Absolutely fucking not. But
And if someone on that team did, we need to know what the fuck they knew. What else did they know?
yeah, they had to have seen into the future or
Yeah, yeah.
something. Very cool. Sorry, I was reading one of the comments.
Ah,
We should probably address.
sure, sure.
Adam doesn't give a damn unless it's Chin Pokemon. Sure, sure. I would like them to make the concept G2000 design into an actual suit. What's the concept? I'm gonna look it up.
I have no clue. Hold
I know that the 2000 design is badass.
on. I love 2000 God. Yo, the company Hia Toys, who to me are like usurping s.h.monsterarts, just announced a fucking 2000 Godzilla, and it looks fucking awesome. It looks great.
Oh shit! Type that up, Lucas. Godzilla 2000 concept art. Look at that design. That's a pretty cool design.
Concept.
It's interesting.
Is it kind of like the bluish one?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I'm looking at it now. I actually, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like how the spikes are kind of like curved upward. Like that's actually really cool.
Yeah, give me a second, guys, and I'll definitely pull it up my screen.
Yeah. Oh, and they're kind of like flayed like off to the side where like the middle is like kind of like almost like hollow, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I actually don't think it's a bad design at all. I think it looks really cool.
here we go.
Yeah.
Oh shit, almost there, guys.
Yeah, I'd like to see this design get re-explored somewhere. I don't know where, but like,
Yeah, it's a interesting design, but I got to tell you, the Godzilla 2000 design, I just love how radical it is.
oh no, I see. I still love this guy. I still love
Yeah.
this and what we got.
Like this is what the American Godzilla should have been, where it's like this
Yeah,
radical redesign, but
yeah,
yet it still feels like Godzilla. Like,
you know. I think
that
2000.
one's not bad either.
Yeah, I
No,
like
this is
the
great.
purple the purple dorsal spines too. I just think it looks really cool. Like, and like the
Oh,
slight
here's
green.
actually a good example of the differences between the two suits,
Mhm.
because they did a little bit of changing in the suits between 2000 and MechaGearus.
Okay.
They made him a little bit greener in MechaGearus, made him a little bit brighter, and then they changed a bit of the shape of the mouth.
Yeah, I
I
can see
think they
it.
made it a little longer,
Yeah, no,
but
definitely the length of it.
it's basically the same suit. It is basically the same suit. But I don't know what is it, but the way, I don't know if it's the lighting or anything, but Jesus, it looks so cool in Godzilla 2000. And
Hmm.
then the design just doesn't look anywhere near as cool as it does in MechaGearus.
Hmm.
It's just such a cool design.
And I think 2000 is sick. I think it's just really cool.
Yeah, it's just a really sick design. Like, oh no, we're gonna look at my Facebook. Oh no.
Adam's Facebook.
But like, look at this shot.
Yeah, that's a good
Like,
shot.
that shot is phenomenal,
That
right?
shot's fucking great.
Yeah, it's so cool. I'm like, and this is an example of like why it was so much cheaper to make this movie than like the Heisei era films,
Hmm.
is because they did so much compositing like this. This is the first time they ever really got to use computers to do the composite work, and I'm like, oh, it looks so cool because of it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some really interesting shots. Too many that's too many. That's trying to pull up shots, kind of turning into a challenge. Lucas, what's your favorite Godzilla design?
uh, fucking damn,
I'm
damn.
putting you on the
Calm
spot.
down. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, I like 2000 a lot. Like I know we were just talking about, it, but I like the 2000
do
design a
do I
lot.
want to challenge you and say, you know what? Let's give our top five.
Let me answer this question first, and we'll get
Do I want you to answer that? Do I want to make your life miserable and say, nah, we're doing a top five and putting you on the spot right now?
there. Well, maybe I'm already prepped for that. I don't know.
All right, Lucas.
Mm, mm, mm.
I'm gonna call your
Oh
bluff.
fuck. Oh shit. Okay. Go for it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All
Adam.
right, you know what? I'll go. I'll go. We'll start with five and we'll work to one.
Okay. Do you also have a five, or is it just me?
No,
Just me. Okay. Well.
but let me think.
Oh, who's not ready now, huh? You didn't. Meanwhile, I have all five of these suckers on tab since the start of the stream, baby.
Oh, okay, okay.
I could send you a screenshot. I'll fight you on this.
No, I believe you. I believe you. All right, Lucas, go. What's your number five?
Number five, Godzilla versus Ghidorah. 100%.
Oh, the seven that one from Destroy All Monsters through Gigan.
Oh, Godzilla versus Ghidorah.
Oh no! I said design.
Design. I thought we were jumping to movies already. Shit.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, no, no. That's what I was gonna do
I'm
next.
sorry.
I just came up on the spot. Our top five favorite Godzilla
Okay,
designs.
well then
Movies.
shit.
Oh yeah,
I'm not fucking ready.
guys, we are ready. I have my top five movies.
Yeah, I thought we were hopping straight to that. Okay, I mean, fucking all right. So favorite Godzilla designs. For my note, are we doing top five for that too?
We could do 5 for that.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Then I guess
That's
5.
tough.
Yeah, 5. Number 5 is gonna be Godzilla versus King Kong versus Godzilla. I've always liked that design, even though how like not Godzilla it looks. I think he looks neat. Like he looks a little silly too. I like that one. That one I'm a fan of.
I've never cared for that design.
I don't know what it is about it. It just something about it works for me as like not as like my go-to Godzilla, but as like as like an alternate one. I'm like, oh, I kind of like you. Okay.
A lot of people like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like some angles looks absolutely derpy.
Yeah, the front facing one is like seeing that dude from the front. It's like look at that guy.
Oh my god. But from like the side he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely they went hard on the reptilian
Yeah. Yeah.
for this particular design. And I think it was to kind of counter Kong.
Okay.
Like Kong is an animal, they really wanted to counter it with a reptilian.
Yeah.
Godzilla design. I will say the spikes are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
The spikes are awesome. I like that they made his eyes yellow.
Hmm.
And I like how sharp his claws are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think the suit is so bulky.
Yeah. He's definitely is a bit bulky compared
He's
to
pretty thick. He's
yeah.
pretty chonky.
Look at them legs. Like god damn.
Yeah, pretty chonky.
He's got a bit of chunk to him. Bit of chunk to him.
Yeah. But I think it fits that movie though, because
Oh
they
yeah.
really play up.
Yeah.
They really play up in that film that Godzilla is like a walking flamethrower tank, while Kong is much quicker
Yeah.
and more
Yeah.
agile. And I've always liked that about that film is that they really play into that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I would even say
not a
like
good-looking gorilla.
I love him. Leave
not
him
a
alone.
not a good-looking gorilla.
We're not talking about him. Leave him out of this.
Okay. I promise. Poor guy.
No, yeah, that would be like my 5. It's like the perfect one where it's just like I like the design and I like how kind of different it looks compared to a lot of other Godzillas.
Yeah.
But like it's just it's like that perfect balance where it's like it's different enough that I can still tell it's Godzilla. Meanwhile, but also it's just like it's unique in its own right. I like this design myself.
Did he have 3 toes in this?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think this is the first one where he had 3 toes because the ones from
So.
Raids Again and the original Godzilla had 4
Mm-hmm.
to match his hands. But yeah, it's not that I dislike it.
Yeah.
He looks better from the front there a little bit, but yeah, it's
He
still a
looks
little derpy. Yeah, it's a little derpy.
Um,
I'll tell you what my 5 is.
what's your 5? What's your 5, Adam?
It's specifically the one from Godzilla versus MechaGodzilla, the original.
Oh, ooh, that's probably
Not the one. I think it's called the Megaro Godzilla suit because
yeah,
it was first used in Megalon, but they did a redesign of his
yeah,
face.
yeah,
They just lowered the brow a little bit to make him look meaner,
yeah, yeah.
and I dig the fuck out of that suit.
That one could be possibly up there for me too.
Yeah, I dig the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
I even don't like it as much in Terror of Mechagodzilla
Mm-hmm.
as I do in film. I just think it's a great design. One of my favorite shots from the movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I love that shot too.
Yep. Yep.
So iconic. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, like this is like, if I think of like the Showa era Godzilla, this is like one of the first designs that come to my mind.
It's one of the first for me as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The only other one that I think comes to mind that kind of beats this is the one from Destroy All Monsters through Gigan. AKA
Yeah.
the Godzilla design that's on your shirt right now.
There he is. That one.
Yeah, that one's pretty iconic.
Yeah, that one's good. That one's good.
Yeah. I just like this design. It's a good design. Apparently the suit only weighed 70 pounds.
Oh.
So it one of the lightest of the suits.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Mine. Anyway.
All right. Should I go to my number 4?
Yeah, you should.
Number 4. And we're gonna get a little new with this one. We're gonna get a little current. Godzilla from King of the Monsters 2019. I think that is like the perfect balance of like the legendary era Godzilla. I wanted to include him because I genuinely think the legendary Godzilla design is cool. Like I think that is just like it improves upon like the 2014 one
Hmm.
in all the little details. The spines are bigger, like I think just that is like when I think of like the monster versus Godzilla, that is the design I like. That right there.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, I
This
think that's like
design is
the perfect
amazing.
balance of like everything. Like
Yeah.
the evolved Godzilla and Godzilla X Kong was fun. That was fun, but like that's not like if I think of Legendary Godzilla, that's not the design I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of this one.
You're thinking
It's
of this one?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Same.
yeah. And 2014 is still great. The 2014 one is still great for the record. Like it's great, but like I think that just improves the King of the Monster one just improves upon that, and it feels like the perfect
Ooh,
like. Oh, is that actually right there? Oh,
yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
And I don't think it's completely fair because I don't think the King of the Monsters design is that hunched over.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But you can get the concept of what we're kind of talking
yeah,
about here. It's just
yeah,
like it just to me feels like 2014 was our first real American design that wasn't Zilla, and then
yeah,
this is like perfectly homogenizing. Like look at the spikes on the fucking King of the Monsters one. I think that's like Godzilla spike to a T to me. Like
yeah.
so yeah, that would be 4 for me because I would like to include him because I think he is a really solid design myself.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
It's a very solid design,
yeah.
very American, if
I
that
will
makes any
mention
sense at all.
also, regardless of what you feel about the movie, it's not in my top 5, but I do genuinely like Zilla. Like I like that design. I think it looks
Oh,
really
the Zilla
cool.
design,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think it's really cool. For Godzilla, I don't know, but it works better in the animated show. Like, like I'll say that. Like,
Master Video Studio says if Peter Jackson was given the task to remake Gojira, the 2019 King of the Monsters design is what I imagine Godzilla would look like in that
yeah,
movie. Yes,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I could picture
I
him
see it.
doing something like that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
What was your 4, Adam? What would you put for 4?
Oh, my 4. I am from Japan. Oh. Um, fuck.
Everything okay?
I gotta think, man. I gotta think. Let me think, man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You know what? The Mothra versus Godzilla design.
Yeah,
That
that
one.
one's good. That one's good.
Like he looks mean without being overly mean. It looks imposing. To me, it's just a vast improvement over the King Kong versus Godzilla suit. Everything that worked
Yeah.
with the King Kong versus Godzilla suit, they kept with this,
Yeah, yeah.
but everything that didn't work, they got rid of. Like they
Yeah.
made him thinner, they
The
made
br-
him more streamlined
the brows are
because it's
definitely more defined in this one
way more
too.
defined.
Way more defined. Like
Yeah. I also it was an accident, but evidently the rubber on the upper part of the jaw was dislodged at some point, and so there's a
mhm.
couple of shots where you see it wobble
Yeah.
in the movie, and for some reason I'm like, makes him look more lifelike. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
You don't want to fuck with that.
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
I will fuck your shit up. It's oh, look at that brow. I love the brow.
hmm
But yeah, and again, I love the sharp claws as well. Um, Now that being said, I prefer it in Mothra versus Godzilla than the one to because it's basically the same suit in Ghidorah the three-headed monster.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that too. It just
It's the head is a little different
yeah.
in Godzilla and Ghidorah the three-headed monster. The head is just a little different. It looks a little stiffer.
Well, was that also was that the head that was taken for Gomez or was that a different one?
It was this suit
Yeah. Okay.
that was used for Gomez. I don't know if they kept the head or not. You see, that's the one from Ghidorah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then that's the one from Mothra. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a good design.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It's also one of those suits where it doesn't matter what angle it is.
hmm
It looks great. It doesn't matter what he's doing. It looks great. That's my 4.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
All right, Lucas.
Do you know what's tough that I'm realizing with this?
What?
Is that something is going to get left behind, and then I'm like, shit, why the fuck didn't I say that? And it's like I don't want to feel like if I'm excluding one that I don't like it. It's just like there's so many fucking designs of this dude that it's like fuck. It is actually kind of hard because right now for three, I'm in between again. I'm actually really in between two specific ones, and I'm going to say both of
Mm,
them, but I will pick a de facto one. I'm just not sure yet.
okay.
I'm between Shin and minus one. I'm between those two designs specifically right now for three. Like it's because they're both really good for very different reasons.
For very different
Very,
reasons.
very different reasons.
One
Because
second,
yeah,
I'll pull you up.
yeah.
So this is the Shin Godzilla one.
God
Which
damn.
one? Which one? If you had to pick one, if somebody had a gun to your head, like I did, like I'm doing to you,
I gotta be honest. As much as I fucking love the minus one design, I gotta go Shin. Like
really? I thought you were gonna go. I genuinely thought you were gonna go with -1.
dude, the Shin design is just so fucking cool to
It's
me.
so weird.
It's so weird, but it's so fucking cool. And then
And
once
cute.
he starts turning purple with the fucking atomic breath, I'm like, holy dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like let's go down the shot, right? Like that shot right fucking there.
Uh,
It's like, holy
terrifying.
fuck,
It's fucking
man.
terrifying.
And it's like I was talking about recently with friends how like the idea of like what would of like the sequel to Shin Godzilla, and while I don't know if it would have really worked, I still think it's fucking horrifying. Like
Yeah.
but I
It
there's something about Shin, man. I really like Shin. I love the like the evolution throughout the movie too of Shin. Like
it's a design that, like GMK, only works in Shin Godzilla. It fits
yeah,
perfectly
yes, yeah,
with this movie.
I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sorry,
so
minus one.
weird.
I'm sorry to throw you away like that. I love you very much. Like look how cool this fucking design is.
It's a great design.
This is like the now the opposite spectrum was like Shin Godzilla is completely unfamiliar, like familiar monster. This is just like, oh, this is fucking Godzilla. Like this is a new
Yeah.
Godzilla in the most
Yeah.
loving way. And what I love
Very
about him
angry.
too is that I love how the fucking dorsal spines move when he does the atomic breath, and then the one fucking
Really cool.
shuts down when he fires
Yeah.
it off. It's so cool.
It is really cool.
Yeah,
Um
I want to
and
give him love. I want to give him
and
love during
a
this too.
unique way of displaying his atomic breath as
And like
well.
the fucking final shot of him when he's like melting, he's like breaking down and like the doing his final atomic breath, and you see his like his skin is bulging out because he came from the pressure and shit is so
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
It's
that.
really great.
Yeah,
I also love that smile he gives too.
yeah,
Yeah, there it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. He's just evil.
So
I love
I
it.
would go. I'll go Shin for three, but I this design is fucking great. Like
Yeah, it's a fucking great ass
it's a
design.
good fucking design. But I'm going like really personal choices here. So
Yeah.
it's your three,
Well,
Adam.
I think my 3, I think I'm going to go with the GMK design.
Okay, that's fair. 100%. Like,
This is another suit where it could only look at that. Is that not
yeah,
terrifying?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, it just works with that film and the themes of that film. He's a ghost.
yeah. Am I overthinking it too that like he has like two fangs that are like way more pronounced on top in this
Oh
design?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he does.
yeah,
Yeah. The original one had that too, where he had two fangs in the
yeah. But
front
I feel like
that
it's like
were
way more. You know, like I feel like
oh way
it's
more
yeah,
in this.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I love the white eyes.
yeah, yeah. It's great.
Honestly, I think more Godzilla designs should have that. Um, I think it's really cool.
The white is cool, but I also feel like kind of what you're saying though too is it feels so tailored to this Godzilla specifically, considering
Tailored for this.
the
Yeah,
lore of this Godzilla too is I don't know
yeah.
if I personally
It's
would
like
want
if
to see
they
it again.
used this in the next movie, it wouldn't work as good.
Yeah, no, no,
It just wouldn't work as good.
nah.
You know? And I really enjoy something that I really enjoy about this is how dark it is. Like Godzilla is usually green or charcoal gray, mostly charcoal gray, with the exception of 2000. That's the only Godzilla design where he's been green. Um, this one they just flat out made him black. Like
Yeah.
his like, and to me that just kind of fits with like his spikes being white,
Hmm.
and his eyes being white, and
Hmm.
even his teeth being white.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, the contrast. It's so good.
Yeah. Totally.
So good. Probably the most lifelike and best put together of all the Millennium suits
Which is
is this
really,
one too.
which is like in a way kind of ironic considering this Godzilla is again multiple souls. Like,
Multiple souls like thrown into one, yeah.
yeah.
But like I love how his head moves and at him. It's just it's so good. All right, Lucas. Uh-oh. Looks like we lost Lucas. Oh well. We still live? Looks like we're live. This is Mike. It's excellent. Yep, we are indeed still live. So I don't know what happened to Lucas. Lucas just sort of dropped off. Sure. Hearing him? Nope, he just dropped off. Yep, there he goes. Well, we'll continue this in a little bit. My God. Well, we are still live. Here we are. Hopefully, we'll be fixing this shortly. Godzilla will be okay. It sounds like Lucas's internet just went out. So, yes. No. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully y'all's been doing all right. Let me redress some of these comments like while we're kind of. Oh boy, he doesn't know if he can come back. Oh well. All right. Oh, okay. Address some of these comments. Right now, it doesn't look like Lucas is back because that has completely died. Did you know there were 3 Simpsons voice actors in the '98 movie? Yes, I did. First Godzilla film where he does. What do you think of the Godzilla Raids Again suit, Adam? Oh, I can address this. Um, like there's no tomorrow. I actually really like the I really like the Raids Again suit. Let me just. I think he looks really derpy if you look at him from the front, but from a profile, like that's derp. To me, that's total derp. But if you look at him from a profile, I think he looks pretty good. I think that's a pretty decent design. Definitely thinner than the one from '54, which I think fits since this Godzilla is fighting another monster, so it needed to be more nimble. But because of that, the suit folded a lot more, and you can really see it here how much the suit was folding because they were just experimenting so much at this time. Um, they were just experimenting so much at this time that they didn't really have the right materials yet. It really wasn't until Mothra versus Godzilla that suddenly did they really start getting the materials right. Um, for Godzilla, where he can look good without it folding too much. I will say that hand puppet is awful. That hand puppet is awful, but from the front, that's where the suit's Achilles heel is. Like from the front, that just doesn't look good. It's just the proportions are a little weird. Yeah, I don't really care for the ears being where they are, but from the side, from a profile, he looks, in my opinion, just fine. Um, yeah, kind of interesting because you kind of see the beginnings. I always thought his spikes were fine. Like that shot, he looks great, in my opinion. Yeah, you still have the ears and you still have the four toes. That both would be excised by the time we get to King Kong versus Godzilla. They'd get. You love the Shin Godzilla suit except for the arms. Yeah, the arms are rather. They are rather. Kind of. What do you think of that mushroom head alternate version that's been going around? I don't like it. I don't like it. Godzilla mushroom head. Yeah, I don't really like it. I understand what they were kind of going for, but I just that's not Godzilla to me. Yeah, that's not Godzilla. I don't really yeah, I don't really like it. I've never liked that concept art anyways. Kind of creepy on its own right, but is it Godzilla? Eh, yeah. Not a big Adam, yeah or nah for Godzilla Jr. in the next MonsterVerse movie? Yeah. Absolutely. Fuck it. I am absolutely okay with that. I'm making a prediction now. Godzilla is going to die at some point within the MonsterVerse. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I genuinely don't know because Toho has this weird stipulation now where I think one of the rules that they have, because they have a series of rules that you have to follow for Godzilla in order for Toho to say okay. And one of them, I want to say, is Godzilla cannot die. That is one of the stipulations that Toho gives. So maybe Godzilla won't die within the MonsterVerse, or maybe they have those stipulations over for the MonsterVerse. I really don't think so, because I know one of the stipulations is Godzilla cannot have human characteristics, which is very vague. That's very vague. But, but, because you notice the Japanese films have been doing that a lot. The humanization of Godzilla in the Japanese in the Reiwa films and series thus far has been very minimal, very minimal. Um, but at the same time, in the MonsterVerse, it's the complete opposite. So I don't know if Legendary Pictures needs to be beholden to those same stipulations. Um, if they are, then Godzilla won't die. If they do, if they aren't, then Godzilla will die. I genuinely think that's the only way his character can go because, as I've sort of said before in previous streams, they've kind of written Godzilla into a corner. And I don't know how he's going to break out of it. Him suddenly having a son of some kind would certainly break him out of that box. It worked in the Heisei era. Godzilla was kind of written into a box in that one as well. I mean, he was reduced to a big gun within Godzilla versus Mothra. As much as I like that movie, Godzilla is definitely sort of the side thing within the film. But they fixed that within Godzilla vs. MechaGodzilla 2 by introducing Godzilla Jr., and it completely redefines the character, and we get some new shit because of it. I think the addition to Godzilla Jr. in the Heisei series was a wonderful addition, even if his design is garbage within Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. Um, I still think it did wonders for Godzilla's character as a whole. So, Lucas Smith. All right, gentlemen, we will be right back. I think Lucas is going to be here. So we'll be right back. There we go. Lucas causing all sorts of trouble for this goddamn stream.
Yeah, and then I got blasted by like those machines that would freeze like your monster in place and destroy all monsters.
Oh
Destroy all monsters
yes,
melee. Those
yes.
things.
Yep, 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 yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah. Internet's a fucking pain in the ass, fellas. Like,
Dude, I gotta tell you, I haven't thought of the Destroy All Monsters game
oh, I love that game. I love that game.
forever.
Yeah,
I never got into them.
yeah.
I had a hard time with them. There was this one on the Game Boy that I played all the time, though.
Domination fucking slaps.
Yeah. I would always play Megalon, because Megalon was
Yeah.
OP.
Domination is so good because that's a way forward game, and like that's like early way forward too when they weren't as known yet. So like the music's great. The sprite work is awesome. It's just like a surprisingly high quality game. Like it's
Was
good.
it Godzilla Domination?
Domination, yeah. You're thinking it's Game Boy Advance, right? You're thinking of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. Wrong screen.
Put me back.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely this one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, those are fan sprites because it only had 6 monsters you can play as, which is up above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely
And then
this one.
Mecha King Ghidorah was the final boss.
Was the final boss, and I could never beat it.
Yeah. It was tough. No, it was a tough fight.
Megalon, I always played as Megalon because Megalon
Yeah,
is so OP.
I think I played Megalon and I think I played MechaGodzilla a lot in it.
Yeah. So Lucas, I'll
Hi.
ask you the question since you're here now.
What's up?
Godzilla Jr. in the MonsterVerse, yay or nay?
I never even thought that was going to be on the table, to be honest.
Really? Because I thought that was exactly what they were going to be doing.
I just feel like they'll never kill Godzilla in the MonsterVerse. I've always felt that.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I'm not against it, but I just feel like I don't feel like it's gonna happen myself.
Yeah. I don't know how much you heard because I know you kind of had me on in the background while you're fixing
Yeah, I
your
was
stuff.
on and off getting shit set up.
Yeah, but I said Godzilla in the MonsterVerse has kind of been written into a corner, and if they introduce Godzilla Jr., that certainly would get him out of the corner.
Yeah. Definitely.
And as I said, that's what they did in the Heisei era. Godzilla was written into a corner on that film or that series, and then they introduced Godzilla Jr. in MechaGodzilla 2, and boom, now they had more material to work with changing Godzilla's character as it went along.
Yeah, I'm not against it. A side of me is like very like I don't think they're gonna do it. I don't think they're gonna let them.
It needs to be different than how they're handling Kong and Kiko. It's not Kiko.
It's Suko or whatever.
Zuko. It needs to be different than that.
Kong,
I think Kong needs to actually be a good dad.
Yeah.
And I think Godzilla needs to be a failure of a dad.
Yeah.
Kind of like he
failures.
is. He's an abusive father like he is in Son of Godzilla. Threatens to hit Minya on more than one occasion.
By the way, did you want me to give my last two?
Yeah,
designs?
Absolutely. Let's get back into it. What was your?
So I mean, 2 is gonna be easy because we already talked about it. It's 2000 Godzilla. I really legitimately like that design a lot. Like we talked about it already.
So radically different.
I think it's just
without
cool.
being too radically different. Like that. Oh, it looks great.
Yeah, like I really like that design.
And it's another one where no matter what angle it's on, it looks great.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
So good.
We don't have to go too much into him because we talked about him already, but like that's my 2. 100%.
Like even here, he looks great.
Yeah.
The abandoning of the dragon fangs definitely makes this a different design from the Showa era.
Yeah.
And early Heisei. Because early Heisei,
has
he
like
had
a
dragon fang.
more like gator face to it, which is
I always said
really
he
cool.
kind of has feline features.
Yeah, I can see it.
Ways.
I can see what you're saying.
I think it's the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the eyes. So, my number 2 is the Godzilla 2002 design.
That is
this guy.
See, I don't like the neck. I don't like the neck on it.
I love the neck.
Really?
Yeah, I love the neck. To me, this is a good crossbreed between the Heisei era and Millennium era.
I see it.
I just love this design.
No. Mark Dos Santos. Shout out to him. His art's fucking great.
What?
So you see the sketch one that's kind of under like that front facing one on black? You were just on it. You were
This
just
one
on it. Keep going,
or
keep
this
going.
one?
Right there. Yeah, this artist is great. I'm just shouting him out.
In-
His work's really cool. He does like a
Interesting
bunch of like headshots of like kaijus and
drawing.
stuff.
Yep. But yeah, I love this design to no end.
Yeah, I'm
To
not a big fan of the neck is weird to me. That's the one thing with it.
to
I don't
to
like
the point that it is this design that influenced my decision on my Godzilla series the most.
okay.
Is this design? This design had a big influence on me. I like the white spikes. It has the perfect placement of the spikes too. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I also like how they keep it for the 2003 design, except they gave him big scars on his chest
Yeah. Well, wasn't that a plot
because of
point
his
thing too?
fight. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I love that. But yeah, I genuinely love this design.
Tight,
Um,
tight. Okay.
I love it. I just love
That's
it. I
funny that
love
our
those
twos kind of
spikes.
lined up a little bit, where it was
They do kind
like,
of line up. This is a very Millennium design.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Well, Lucas, what's your all-time
My no.
favorite Godzilla?
So I'm gonna be straight. I was foregoing picking the original design from this. I was just ignoring it just because I just feel like that's its own tier. Like from Gojira, obviously. I just think that design is its own place. So, but my number one for me, and might spoil things for later, Burning Godzilla from Destoroyah.
Yeah,
Burning
because
Godzilla.
we have two different Godzilla designs, but I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
this design is such a good accumulation.
There's something about it, man.
Yeah,
I don't know what there's just something about it.
he
Like
looks sick, both literally sick, but also just awesome sick.
yeah, the whole thematic meaning of this design too, I think is what makes it for me as well. That there really is like it's not just like, oh, this is a cool, no, there's like an actual reason. He's literally melting down.
Yes,
Like it's
yeah.
I love when the smoke being part of it too, I think just sells the design
It it
also.
it
Like
it makes it more lifelike.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
it like because there's always that constant movement, and they changed the roar too
Yeah.
to make it sound like something's wrong.
Even the eyes. The
Yeah,
eyes are like red. Like it's I don't know what it is about this design. It's always stuck out for me and it's just like it's a favorite one of mine. I don't know if it's like the de facto Godzilla design, but I just like this design and it's like a my personal favorite.
yeah. It's a fucking
The
great
the
ass
meaning of it
design.
really is what helps for me.
I
That's
think
what
yeah,
really sells it.
and you know what? I think that's one reason why I like the GMK design so much because the
Yeah.
meaning behind it works so
Yeah.
well, and one reason why I like the original suit so much because the meaning behind it worked.
Yeah. That's
But this suit,
burning is a
yeah,
big one for me. And that's why
yeah,
it's like even though I do like how they did burning in like King of the Monsters, it's not the same
it's not the
at all.
same. And to me,
At
they
all.
wasted Burning Godzilla.
Yeah, I don't fully disagree with you. I still think it's cool, but like it's like, man, the connotation of burning Godzilla is that's why I'm glad they never followed up on like the Oxygen Destroyer like as of right
Yeah,
now. That
yeah,
it's like that's a big thing you can't just do. Like it's like there's reason to that. Like
yeah, yeah,
but yeah, I like burning.
yeah.
Burning
Burning
is my
Godzilla because
personal.
right from the get go, something's wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I like how all the human characters know something's wrong too,
Hmm.
and that's it's just a good accumulation of that particular Heisei Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's a good accumulation of that design. And in full disclosure, I actually really like the '94 design, which is that design just
Yeah.
darkened and
Yeah. Yeah.
added with glowing ones. It to me, in my opinion, is a good design. A vast improvement from the '93 design,
Hmm.
where the '93 design just looks fat.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's a good design, and it just works thematically too. Like that's really important. Does it work thematically with your movie?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Something Godzilla's
That's
sick,
yep.
and yeah, I love it. So good. I
It's
remember
great.
being so sad when I was a
It's
kid watching that.
it's such a fucking jerker. It's such a
It's
jerker.
so good. It's so fucking good.
Yeah. What's yours, Adam? What's your
Well,
numero uno?
Speaking of the Heisei era,
Oh,
mine is very specifically
oh, that's a
the
good one.
Godzilla design from 1991, which is an altered version of the Bio Goji suit.
Yeah,
That guy, yeah, this is my guy.
that's good. It's good. It's
This
good.
is my guy. I'm like, I look at that. I love how he's upright. He's not hunched
Yeah.
over. I love the muscles. I love how angry his face is.
Hmm.
I love how the teeth are always showing. This looks like the king of the monsters to
Yeah.
me.
It's good. It's good. I think what's nice about like the Heisei era designs like post 84 is that like I feel like those became like the de facto if you see Godzilla on something, those are like the designs that show up a
Yeah.
lot of the time. They became like almost like the default for a while. I'm not a big fan of the 80 that one, the
Well, it's
84 design.
basically the same suit. It's just a little less. Yeah, here we go. Here's a good
Well, the snout
comparison.
is also a little more pronounced and like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause it is you can tell it's the same suit, just
yeah,
modified. Not that I think he looks bad in Biollante. It's just what I think is clearly a first.
yeah, yeah. I got it.
It's like they took Godzilla, even if you compare him from 84, a radically different direction.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
In 89, I will always give credit for setting the tone for all the other Heisei design.
Hmm.
But to me, it's just, oh man, that 91.
It's good. It's good.
The 91 design, I tell you. It's just, to me, when I see this guy,
Yeah,
I'm like, that is the king.
yeah, yeah. I think
All hail the king. And
it's a good
also,
design.
be afraid. Be very, very afraid.
Yeah,
Um, it's just so good. So good. To me, this design has and never been topped. Even actually this has the positioning of the spikes that are my personal favorite as well.
hmm,
Where the tallest one is the first big one, and
okay.
it kind of does like a shape like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Where a lot of them do like this kind of design. If you follow my
I get what you're saying.
this
Yeah,
one, I like it just as that, and then slowly gets shorter. But yeah,
very nice.
fucking love
Very
that
nice.
design. All right. Well, Lucas,
Hmm.
now that you're here again,
Hello, everyone. I am here.
top 5 Godzilla films. Go.
Okay, well, I spoiled
We'll
number
start.
five
We'll
already.
start with 5. Yeah,
Godzilla versus Ghidorah.
that's my
Uh,
5 too.
oh fuck, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's my
shit,
5.
fuck yeah!
Yeah.
I just think like that is the movie that like aged like wine for me growing up. That I liked it when I was younger. I did. But that was one where I was like, "Oh no, I appreciate like how fucking weird this one is. I appreciate
Yeah.
the artistry to it. Like I appreciate that there's an animated section at one point in the
There's
movie. Like
multiple. It's a weird movie. It is
I
an
also
acid trip of a film.
I love Fedora. I love that monster. He's like one of my favorites, and I really firmly like that movie. I think it's great. I even love that Godzilla flies off at the end of the movie in the funny way that he does.
That yeah, this is Godzilla on acid. It is the most art house Godzilla ever. It's crazy that that film has a smaller budget than Godzilla versus Megalon and what they
Yeah.
got away with. It's insane. I admire the filmmaking. I even admire the monster scenes. I like a lot of the characteristics that the monsters have, that they're like talking to each other
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I love the detail during the first fight that Ghidorah gets kind of afraid of Godzilla
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of backs away. I kind of
It's like
like
oh
that.
no. Yeah.
He kind of backs away like a kicked puppy, and
Yeah.
I like that. I love every one of Hedorah's designs are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Like his flight
Ev-
form too, with like
yeah,
the big bulging eyes out. I mean, he has the eyes. I don't know. Like the flight form
yeah,
specifically has like two giant ones. Like
yeah. That's the
yeah.
one that scared me the most as a kid. This was my first Godzilla film.
Hmm.
It explains a lot. Uh,
You know what's funny? This is actually like one of the few Godzilla films I've always explained when I was on that my dad is the one who got me into Godzilla movies growing up. This was weirdly one of the ones he didn't want me to watch. He wanted me to wait a little bit for this one for some reason.
Well, I mean, there is a scene where people dissolve
Fair,
in
fair.
front of your eyes and turn to bone. So I kind of
Yeah,
get it.
because the other one was Gigan because of the blood that was in that one. Like there was a lot of
Really,
blood and
Godzilla vs. Gigan was one of the last ones I
yeah,
ever saw
yeah,
of the classics. You know, it was one of the last ones I ever watched.
yeah.
Um, I know what the last one was.
That was the last one.
Technically, it was Return of Godzilla, the Japanese cut,
Okay, yeah,
but I don't really count that because I saw Godzilla 1985 with
okay,
Raymond Burr in it.
yeah.
It was Biollante.
Ah, yeah, but
I
well,
had a
Biollante
very
also
hard
had
time finding that film.
well because it only had like a VHS release for
Yeah,
years. It only had
forever.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it
and
was
then it
that
got like
VHS
DVD
that
and
I
Blu-ray.
watched. I
Yeah,
managed to track down a copy of that
yeah.
VHS, and I watched it and was mesmerized by it.
I
I
remember
was like, "This is
when
cool."
they did the new DVD and Blu-ray release. I remember I went to my local FYE when it came out and picked it up because I'm like, oh my god, I can finally like really watch it. Like,
Yeah, one of the holy grails of lost Godzilla media is the audio commentary for that film
mhm,
by Ed Gudrzynski, who
mhm,
did a lot of the commentaries for Godzilla films.
mhm.
Um, Toho did not approve it, so they couldn't use it, and it's
Damn,
just gone.
yep,
No one has ever been able to listen to it. It hasn't been leaked anywhere. It's
damn,
just gone.
that sucks.
And I'm
That
like, I am
sucks.
dying to listen to that commentary.
I will mention really quick also, just while we're on the topic of this movie, it's not in my top five, but Biollante is probably like 6 or 7.
Oh,
Like
it's in my top 10.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's in
so
my
is
top
King
10 100.
Ghidorah.
Percent
So
Yeah,
is King Ghidorah.
yeah. It's not in my five, but it's in there because it's just a
Yeah,
great fucking movie, and I
yeah.
love Biollante too, so I'm a little
Such
biased there. But,
such a cool movie. But
yeah,
Hedorah,
yeah.
um, I love the weird tone that the film goes for. Like, it's a weird movie.
It's weird. It's fucking strange, and I appreciate it more as like an adult. Like it's
Yes. Yeah. Like, I love the part where during the nightclub scene, his character gets shit faced, and suddenly he starts hallucinating. Everybody has fish heads,
it's the best. It's the fucking best.
and I'm like, oh my god, what am I watching? And then the cat. It
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah,
what? I wish the characters adopted the cat. Like, I wish you had like the girl holding the cat at the end, and like they adopted the kitty. I don't know. I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know. But I was like, what the fuck is this?
yeah.
Now, as a kid, I was watching this movie and I was like, what the fuck is this? Dad, this is amazing. And I've said this before in the live streams, and I'll say it again here. I don't think my father thought he would be creating such a monster that I would be sitting here now, 20 years later, watching these films. But it explains a lot that Godzilla vs. Hedorah is that I even love the music.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
It's
the
so
the
weird.
final theme at the end when he flies off is great. Like,
I mean, no other Godzilla film has a James Bond style opening either.
I
Like, it's
didn't even
great.
think of it like
It's so
that.
great. And I love the song. I even like Godzilla's theme. All right, it's so goofy.
Bam, bam, bam. It's
I
great.
even like I even like the ending of this movie. I love how beat up the Godzilla suit gets. Like, this was a
Yeah,
tough fight for Godzilla.
yeah. I mean,
And
again,
I
he
like
gets
how
literally
when
shit on.
yeah, literally. And I love
Yeah,
how when he's walking away, like he's limping,
yeah, yeah.
he's clearly gone through some shit. He loses an eye,
Yep, yep.
you know? And I don't know, there's something about that. There's that shot with the kid looking on at Godzilla, and Godzilla's just walking away into the distance that I'm like, one, it's really good at selling the scale of these monsters.
Yeah,
There's several shots in this film that sell the scale of these monsters really fucking well. And then there's something so heroic about Godzilla just walking away.
yeah, yeah. Especially like again, because the fight was so intense too. It really like sells it.
Yeah, nobody ever mentions the baby caught in the slime in Godzilla vs. Hedorah. Yeah, nobody remembers that. It's in that part with all of, like the split screens going on
Yeah,
and
yeah,
weird
yeah,
shit. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
this is great. This is so weird.
yeah.
Very 70s.
I love Ghidorah. I really, it's like one of my
Ghidorah is
favorite
such a cool
kaiju.
thing, and it's a great suit.
Yeah,
The suits that they have for Ghidorah look awesome.
yeah. I mean, like again, like I said earlier in the stream that I just got like the monster arts, and that figure is so fucking cool looking. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I love the two-legged Hedorah form.
yeah, he's my
Like,
he is my big little trash man, and I love him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
He's
even have a
great.
pin of him on like my bag that has like my game bag where I keep like I have like a pin of him specifically on there too. Too
I love it. I love
love
Hedorah.
love him.
He's a cool dude.
Yes, sir. And it made me
Where's it?
so happy when they did like the anniversary for him. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like,
Well, Takashi Yamazaki wants to remake the movie.
I would be Hedora Bros.
Yeah,
We're recognized. We've
yeah.
won.
Finally, I'm
I
actually
don't think that's gonna
very
be the new movie, but I would
no, me
like it.
neither.
No, no,
I'm
no.
very happy to see Godzilla vs. Hedorah recently getting a reevaluation.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great.
In the very least, even if I didn't like it as much, in the very least, I would like it for doing something different.
Yeah, it's just it's that's what's so cool about it to me is that and why I can't stress enough the level of appreciation this movie got for me as I've gotten older is like it went from like like a normal flat line to like yeah I've liked Universally All then like by the time my brain became film lit it went boom.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, big time. I mean, I've always loved this movie, even as a kid. Like, I was
Yeah,
just mesmerized by it. Even like that weird decision. Like, remember when that building starts crumbling and there's
yeah,
no sound at
yeah, yeah,
all?
yeah,
Like, I love that decision, and it creates this wonderful, creepy atmosphere. And Hedorah's theme, I think, is unbelievably creepy in that film.
yep,
Like, there's that
yep,
shot where Godzilla shows up on Mount Fuji, and he slowly appears from the and Godzilla appears from the darkness. You're like, yeah, and we're all triumphant. Godzilla's
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Then it cuts to the reverse shot, and Hedorah slowly approaches. And because they put water on the suit, it starts reflecting slowly off of the studio lights.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you see the red eyes first,
Hmm.
and it slowly appears from the darkness. And Richiro Manabe's creepy ass score
Yep,
starts playing. Great. I love it.
great
I
movie.
love it.
Great movie.
But, but, I, it's weird. And I get why people don't like it. I
I can
really
no, I
do.
can understand. I can
It is
understand.
so weird and so
I get it.
different. There's nothing else in Godzilla like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the first Godzilla film to make him unequivocally the hero.
Mhm.
Like, he's not a benevolent guy. No, he is the hero.
No, yeah, he is a hero in that movie. There's
Yeah.
no argument on that.
Yeah.
Like
No argument there. So, our number 5 lined up.
that's really funny that
That's
did
really funny. Yeah.
that. All right,
What's your number 4, Lucas?
my number four. Well, 4 and 3 are going to be really funny the way they're lined up, but
Okay.
considering what we talked about prior. But my number four is Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla
Do we
is
want to talk about that now or later?
oh. Do you want me to wait? Do you want me to wait?
Oh, let me. I want to clarify something. I excluded the original Godzilla because I think
I
that's
also
on a
did.
tear
No,
of its own.
you told me. I think you told
Yeah,
me to
okay.
also. So I
Yeah,
didn't.
the
I didn't put
original
that down.
Godzilla, I think,
Yeah.
is art in every way, shape, and form, and it needs to be on a pedestal all of
Yeah.
its own.
It was this. I had that same rule with the suit thing too, where it was just like
Yeah.
that's just its own kind of thing. I like not in the most positive way. That's its own thing. But for so like I mean I guess we're in a bit of an impasse here because Shin is my four. If you want me to wait, I can wait.
We'll wait.
Okay,
We'll wait because I think it fits for us to wait.
that's fine.
But my number 4 is Godzilla versus King Ghidorah,
Ooh, the
and that
which the
91.
original or 91?
Yep.
91. Okay, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the big reason why. And despite all of the plot holes that are with that film, and there are
Yeah,
tons, as I joked earlier,
yeah,
the
yeah.
plot holes in that film are large enough that you could throw Godzilla through it.
Hmm.
Um, what the film gets right, it nails. It gets
Yeah.
so right, I don't care about the plot holes.
Okay.
It is a movie examining what is Godzilla's relationship to Japan. Is
Hmm.
he a hero? Is he a villain? Is he an allegorical destroyer? Is he a
Hmm.
natural disaster? Is he Japan itself? And that's what's so genius about it. And it does so in such a crazy way. it's definitely a Showa inspired film without it losing what was making the previous two Godzilla films in the Heisei era so interesting, which were slightly darker. Godzilla is more of a villain, certainly more of a villain or a benevolent guy in this series. And they were treating it seriously, unlike the Showa era, where they just kind of started having fun with it and getting more goofy and goofy and goofy.
Yeah,
They take such a ridiculous concept of time travelers from the future trying to erase Godzilla from history and said, no, no, we're going to treat this serious. And that's what I think makes it work so well.
yeah,
Um, freaking you have the return of Akira Ifukube as well.
yeah, yeah,
Triumphant score.
yeah,
Return of the King. Um, Godzilla looks great. King Ghidorah's redesign and new origins I find unbelievably interesting
yeah, yeah.
and ties it very well with Godzilla that I think really works. It also has my second favorite human character from any Godzilla film, which is Mr. Shindo,
Yep, yep,
the World War II veteran who helps rebuild Japan. And I love his dichotomy with Godzilla. I love his guilt over Godzilla. That now he's not only damned Godzilla once by leaving him on that island to mutate into Godzilla. Now, with him erased from history, he's now damned Godzilla twice by nuking him again,
yeah, yeah,
despite Godzilla being his savior. And I'm like, that's deep. I like that. That is
yeah, yeah,
literally the manifestation of what is Godzilla's relationship with Japan. And that's what the film is trying to dissect. It's a deep movie.
yeah. No, I agree with you.
Over with the guise of time travelers from the future trying to erase Godzilla from history. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And
Yeah.
you know what? Godzilla, World War II, fuck yeah, sign me the fuck up. Sign me the fuck up.
Yeah, yeah.
I am all for it.
Yeah, no, this one's solid. It's like I really don't have too much to say about it. It's not in my top five, but it's it's a solid one. I enjoyed my watches with it too. I think like the shots of like Mecha King Ghidorah in the city, like I remember
Yeah.
those shots vividly. Like
Oh yeah.
those ones, and also I think the forgive me if I'm wrong here. There's like a shot where like Ghidorah's dead. It's like underwater, right?
Yes.
That something about that shot stuck out of my brain for
Well, the
my whole
entire
life.
opening, I love
Yeah,
the opening with the submarine and they
yeah,
find the corpse of King
yeah,
Ghidorah. And I love how one of the characters goes, "My God, look at that thing!" And it had two heads.
yeah.
Well, originally it had three. Three?
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
I
that's
love
a great
that.
one. That's a great
And
one.
also, I love how dark Ifukube's score is. It's literally just Ghidorah, the most brooding rendition of Ghidorah's theme
Yeah, yeah,
I've heard, and it's so good. It's so good, and it proved, I think, to a lot of people that Ifukube could compose for a modern movie,
yeah.
despite the fact the movie is over 30 years old now. It, he proved that he could compose for the modern era, and he actually came out of retirement for none other than Godzilla,
Mm,
because he retired, I think, in the 70s in terms of making music for film,
yeah,
not symphonies, but for films. And I love the reason why he came back. He came back because he watched Godzilla vs. Biollante and hated what they did with his theme. And they hated the placement of his music in that film. And he was bitching to his wife. He was like, God damn it, why did they always fucking use my goddamn music? Why? And she said, well, why don't you fucking go back there and make the music yourself then? And he did. Uh,
makes sense. Of
his
logic.
wife nagged him into into doing the music, and it's great. You know,
Yeah, no,
he's great.
it's a solid one. It's a good
You,
one.
you mentioned one of the comments here mentions that you could have done without the Dorats. I love the fact that Ghidorah came from the Dorats.
Yeah, I think they're silly. I think they're
Well,
silly
they
little
are
guys.
silly. They're so
Yeah,
cute, and
yeah,
they turn into this monstrosity.
yeah,
And I'm like, I love that. I love it, and to me that fits into the theme of Godzilla too. Godzilla, the
yeah,
Godzillasaurus, and everything like that. He was just a dinosaur, and look what we did to him.
yeah.
These Dorats were these cute, little stupid flying things that were just really kind of
Were
cute.
the Dorats still aliens? I forgot. I don't
I
think they
don't
were,
know.
right? I don't think they
I don't
were.
think they were. I believe they were just genetically engineered.
Yeah, yeah,
I believe in earlier drafts of the scripts, it was going to be these things are from Venus, which was a
yeah,
reference to Ghidorah, the three-headed monster.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I quote the director Kazuo Omori, "I'm not making a fucking alien space movie," and I quote. That is a quote. Um, Kazuo Omori is an interesting guy. He's an interesting dude. He stopped directing Godzilla movies after Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, but he wrote um, the next movie. I think he wrote the next movie, and then of course he wrote Destoroyah.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Even though Destoroyah was directed by Takeo Kawara.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's my number 4.
Okay.
Lucas, what's your number 3?
So my number three, and this is where kind of I was saying before, where I was saying it as kind of a kind of a funny scenario here. My three is -1. It's Godzilla -1.
-1. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have to pause on this, or should we talk? Can we talk about
Nope,
it?
we can talk about it.
Okay. I mean, I feel like there's not much to say. We did a whole show on it,
We did.
but I just think -1 is such a strong fucking movie. And like I understand what I'm saying. Not just a strong Godzilla movie, it's just a strong fucking movie. Like
Yeah.
it is a
Yeah.
fucking joy from start to finish. It's a bummer. It's a fucking joy at the same time, though.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like they took every single criticism from the MonsterVerse
yeah,
movies and said, "Watch me."
yeah,
Like, oh, you don't care about the human characters? I'm going to make a movie where that's all you care about are the
yeah.
human characters.
Well,
And it's one of only I think 3 Godzilla movies that I can think of where if you take Godzilla out of it, you've still got a good
yeah,
movie.
and I'll take it a step further too, where it's like it totally beats the allegations of people like, oh, people only watch Godzilla for the monster stuff, and I'm like, no, no,
Mhm.
no, no. There's way more than that going on in this movie, and it's
Yeah,
like I've never been fan like as much as obviously the monsters and the fighting and stuff is like my favorite stuff of it, but like I've never been a fan of just breaking down Godzilla simply as like people only like the only good things about these movies are the monster fights. So I'm like
right.
that's not what this is. That's not true. It's just
Yeah,
incorrect.
and it genuinely
Like
surprised me how much I cared about the human characters, even though it shouldn't have, because it's
I
Takashi
cared,
Yamazaki.
yeah, I
But
cared so much about all of the characters in this movie. I cared about them.
yeah,
Like it was
yeah,
just like what can I say here, guys? It's Godzilla -1. It's a great fucking movie. The visual effects are fucking great.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yep, phenomenal.
it's just
And as I said with Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, it's World War II when Godzilla.
yeah,
I think this movie was made for me.
yeah, yeah,
I love it to no end. The
yeah.
music is great. Cinematography is great. I
The way
prefer,
humanity fights Godzilla in this movie, I think is so fucking cool.
yeah, the way
Like,
how they go after Godzilla in this film is
yeah,
so cool. It's so
yeah.
cool, and so original as well.
Mhm.
Um, I I was so happy to see Godzilla blatantly kill people again
Yeah, yeah,
and actually become a murderer.
yeah.
Godzilla was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Horrible. I especially like, man, I knew I was like in for it when I actually jumped when he showed up for the first time on the island.
Yes,
I
I was
could
not.
not like
That caught me off guard. That entire scene caught me
it
off
scared the
guard.
shit out of me. That whole
Yeah,
scene, I was tense in my theater chair. I'm just like,
so good.
what?
It's so
What?
good. So good.
Oh,
I gave a shit. Deserved that Academy Award.
I'm so happy it won. I could not believe it won it.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
was cheering. My reactions are on YouTube for you guys to
yeah,
watch.
I
Um,
could not believe it
yeah,
that it
I
actually
couldn't
won.
believe it either.
Like,
He
the
messaged
Oscars,
me.
you did one cool thing once
You did, yeah, yeah.
recently. You did
Congratulate.
one
You
cool
got
thing.
one thing right.
Thank you.
Oscars.
Thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
take the
Thank
W and I
you.
don't need anything else. You're good.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, it's like I don't know what else I can really say. It's Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
Everyone loved it. I loved it. Like
Now,
it's
I have a full confession for you.
what's your confession?
Godzilla -1 is not on my top 5, and I feel like the reason why it's not on my top 5 is because I feel like I still have yet to digest it completely.
I get it. I get where
I
you're
don't
going with
know
it.
if I'm riding on the high of the film yet, or do I genuinely like it that much? I'm pretty sure. Give it like another year, it'll be on my top 5.
Well, this conversation. Well, that's funny you say because like that was
Yeah.
my fear of putting both of that and Shin Godzilla in my top five. That it's like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm just liking the more recent ones. But I can't stress to you enough that both of these fucking movies like left impacts when I left the theater, and I still think about them.
Oh yeah,
Like
big time.
so it's like I do get like that too, where I'm like, oh, is it just recency bias? But no, no. I saw fucking -1 3 times in theaters. Like I didn't get to see Shin Godzilla more than once because at the time that was a very limited release. I only got to see it once in theaters, but
I
like
saw that. I saw that 3 times.
I've watched it so many times, and
Me
like
too.
obviously I love Hideki Anno. We've talked about it before. Like and it's
Mm,
but like it's I do really legitimately think those movies are fucking
yeah,
awesome. Like
yeah.
so
Reiwa
-1's
era
my favorite.
has been the Reiwa era in terms of their live action movies have been 2 for 2.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
two absolutely outstanding films.
Yep.
Uh, you know, say what you will about the anime trilogy, I still admire those for trying to do something different.
I think the third one's great. I really legitimately I think it
I
all
like
comes
some.
together.
I think that's my favorite out of the
Yeah.
three.
I think like yeah, like I think that the first two are a little rough, but I think it really does come together in that third one and is like
Yeah,
made it like okay, I'm actually glad I watched these. Like
yeah.
really
Oh,
like
I'm really glad that I watched
yeah,
them. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong. I love the music and I love the end credit songs.
yeah, yeah,
The animation's a little weird, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it was
yeah, it'll work.
fine.
Yeah.
And I fucking loved Singular Point.
I love Singular Point too. Even though I still feel like I didn't fully understand Singular Point, I liked Singular Point a lot.
I
I
actually
think
really want to
Ultima is
watch it
really
again.
cool. I think Ultima is really
Yeah,
cool.
I
Like,
really want to watch it again from beginning to end. I really
yeah.
do because I really liked it.
The
So
opening in that fucking show was awesome. Like the actual opening
awesome.
theme is awesome. And like
Well,
the visuals and everything, like yeah.
the music in that show in general, is
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
utterly fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's. But yeah, the Reiwa has been overall, I think, an outstanding
Yep.
era, and I'm looking forward to what else they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking to, and clearly Takashi Yamazaki has been given okay, make another one.
Yep.
Um, do I really want a sequel to -1? No,
Yeah, I
but
see. I thought
I'm
that too. Where
curious to
it's
see
like,
where this goes.
whereas with -1, I left that movie, even though there's very clearly like weird cliffhangers at the end of it. If they just never followed up on any of that and left it as is, I wouldn't even care. Like
And
it's I
that's how I felt, by the way,
yeah
for Shin Godzilla.
yeah
I was
yeah
so happy when they said no, we're not making a sequel. I was like,
yeah.
thank you.
But I also will say the fact that we do have him back as both director, visual
Mm-hmm.
artist, writer,
Writer. Yeah.
I'm more open to a sequel than you'd think. Like
Oh yeah,
I
same,
trust
same.
him
Yeah.
full heartedly.
Well, yeah, it's amazing what happens if you just let a filmmaker be a filmmaker.
Insane, insane
Like
thought.
even as insane as like Godzilla X Kong was, you could tell that the studio was just like,
Yeah,
Adam Wingard,
yeah,
have at it,
yeah.
go nuts with your visual, and that's what he did.
Yep.
And I was like, cool, you know. Same
Yeah,
with -1, just in a more cinematic, deeper way, you know, because they're two very different kind of film. Um,
totally.
but yeah, yeah, I understand why -1 is on your list. I understand why
Yeah.
it's on everyone's list.
Yeah, it's just it's
It's
like,
just that
and again,
good.
it's a case where I said it like 3 times already. Like what else can I say at this point?
Yeah,
It's Godzilla
yeah,
-1. It has there's a reason why it's so beloved. It's and if you haven't seen it, just go fucking watch it. It's on
yeah.
Netflix now.
Exactly,
Come on.
exactly.
Like, what is your three, Adam?
My three is Mothra versus Godzilla, 1964.
I think that's a very yeah. I think that's a very fair and solid pick. Like,
Well, I just rewatched it today. Actually, I had it on
mhm,
in the background while I was because I was hunting,
okay,
so I was out there for a week, and I came back today,
yeah,
and well, I wanted to put something on the background while I was unpacking, and it was that
yeah,
film and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, my favorite double bill.
hmm
Um, Mothra vs. Godzilla is a masterpiece. It's Ifukube's greatest score. It's the film that not only solidified Mothra as being such an integral part of Godzilla, but it also it established it Godzilla's theme was established in the Japanese version of King Kong vs. Godzilla, but it was perfected in this movie. The music, I think, makes this film work on so many levels. It's just so good. Mahara Mothra that the Shobijin sing is
yeah,
genuinely one of the greatest freaking songs ever. It's always in my head.
totally,
Lucas,
totally.
it's always in my head to the point that when I was a child, I would sing it. I would
I
sing
feel
the
you.
Mothra song.
I
I was
feel you,
all
man.
about Mothra growing up. Like the
Yeah.
Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, I fucking love Mothra.
I mean, I think Mothra is like legitimately like
Mm-hmm.
one of the most iconic kaiju with
Yeah.
Godzilla. I mean, like we
Yeah.
said it during. I mean, I said it during when we talked about GXK, where my theater fucking cheered when Mothra showed up. They were
Yeah.
that was like the most they popped off was when Mothra showed up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And what I find very interesting, and Mothra versus Godzilla is the Showa era team
yeah, yeah,
at their peak.
yeah. I get what
Everything
you're
in that
saying.
movie, I don't think, including today, I don't think Mothra has ever looked so good. This will always be my favorite Mothra design is from this
Hmm.
film.
Hmm.
I like how she looks old, but still kind of has this elegance to her.
Yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying.
While in the '60s film, in her debut film, she's very colorful. I like how in this movie she's a little more faded,
Yeah,
a little more ratty because she's old, and they established that she's old in
yeah.
this film. I love the fact that the two larvae beat Godzilla not through sheer strength. They beat Godzilla because they outsmart him.
Hmm.
I've always loved it.
Yeah.
And this was the film where Shinichi Sekizawa finally perfected his new trope, his new style of screenplay, because he got bored. He got bored with the classic uh, man versus monster formula, which is monster creates problem and humans solve it. That is the most generic trope within the genre, within any science fiction film.
Hmm.
Something creates problem and humans solve it.
Hmm.
Shinichi Sekizawa got bored with that, and he flipped it on its head. People have problems and monsters resolve. And this is where it is perfected. This and Ghidorah the three-headed monster.
Hmm.
It's where he finally was able. It began with Mothra. It continued with King Kong versus Godzilla, and then he perfected it here finally.
Yeah, yeah,
And again, it's the entire crew on full going on full throttle, ready to go, firing on full cylinders, and it's a masterpiece.
yeah.
It's a masterpiece. I remember in film school, one of my professors says the anamorphic widescreen is not good for giant monster movies because it's not good at capturing the scale of the monsters. And I agree with him to some extent.
Hmm.
Hence why the Heisei era was shot in the aspect ratio it was. It wasn't shot in anamorphic widescreen.
Yeah, yeah.
But to counter him, I always point to Mothra versus Godzilla and Ghidorah the three-headed monster, where Mothra and Ghidorah fill the frame
Hmm.
whenever they're on it. There's so many cool shots of like Godzilla like ducking as Mothra flies overhead and stuff like that. These beautiful wide shots. And I'm like, Jesus, the amount of the artistry of the miniatures, the artistry of the suit, the effort that was put into making these films really is on display with Mothra versus Godzilla, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's just so good. I was torn between this and Ghidorah the three-headed monster because in my list of the three most essential Showa era Godzilla films, I wound up going with Ghidorah the three-headed monster.
Hmm.
But I prefer Mothra versus Godzilla on my standpoint.
I
I
get what
think
you're saying.
it's
Yeah.
just so fucking good. The score is good. Everything is good.
Nah, it's a solid one for like all the
Mm,
reasons you've said.
mm. And we love Mothra.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
her.
yeah. Love
Yep.
Mothra. Okay,
What's your
my number
number
two.
two?
Number
Yeah.
two. Well, we're going back to show Adam.
Oh.
My number two, and this is kind of my basically what Ghidorah was for you. Godzilla
Mm,
versus MechaGodzilla.
great pick.
Without this movie, like I definitely as a kid saw some prior to this. This is the one for me where it all came together, and I really became a fan of Godzilla. I love this movie from start to finish. I love the opening, how Godzilla is it opens with like Godzilla attacking Anguirus when it's like, what the fuck? They're friends. Like, why are they doing this now? And then like we see it's like there's an imposter Godzilla, and it all derails from there.
Great.
Uh, the original MechaGodzilla design, I really hate to say it, in a world where we have Kiryu, is still my favorite MechaGodzilla design. I just don't know what it is. There's just something about it that I love. I love how it looks, and I love the final like showdowns between Godzilla and then the King Caesar song is it is cheesy. The King Caesar song is fucking cheesy, but I kind of love it. I really do.
This movie has everything in it, Lucas.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
even has
It's
Space Ape.
the space. How can I forget about the space apes? You're right.
Space Apes. It's got a James Bond style plot evolving around a lion god.
Yep. It is.
It's got
It's
aliens
so
controlling a giant robot Godzilla.
yeah.
And it's got Godzilla getting Jedi power.
Yep. And man, fucking when MechaGodzilla goes fucking full throttle and just starts
Oh
firing
yeah.
everything,
Oh
the
yeah.
finger lasers, the head fucking moving to make the barrier. I'm like, this is so fucking
It's
cool.
it's insane, and I love every moment. Masaru Sato's amazing score for the
Yep.
film.
Yep.
It is so different, radically
Yeah.
different than Akira Ifukube. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like nah,
And,
we're
and I
going
know
crazy.
I know there's Showa films that are probably like more astute. Even the film that follows this is probably a little more like high caliber, but like
It is,
unless
but
Terra did directly follow this, correct? Like
yeah,
there wasn't
Terra
like a movie in
directly
between. Yeah.
followed this. Yeah,
It
yeah.
is, but man, this fucking movie is so special to me, and it's just like it's without this movie, I wouldn't even be here talking about
It's
this. And
such
I love this fucking movie.
it's such a visual treat too.
Yeah,
Like the cinematography is really good. There's a lot of energy in this
yeah,
movie, considering the fact that Godzilla's hardly the monsters are hardly in this movie at all. They're only in it
Mhm.
for a little bit in the beginning,
yeah,
and they end the first act,
yeah,
and then they're in for the final battle.
yeah.
I want to say this is my first introduction to Anguirus as well.
Mhm.
Was this film,
Yeah.
and his roar scared me as a kid. I remember that
Well, you
distinctly.
know what
That
scared me
opening.
was, and it was nice because it was like King Caesar when he's like sealed away and he's dark in the cave. That shot's
Oh
fucking
yeah,
scared me as a kid. But then once he woke up and I was like, oh, he's a good guy. I'm like, oh, I
he's a
fucking
good
love
guy.
King Caesar. I'm like, he's
Yeah,
fucking awesome. Like
King Caesar's a badass,
he's
and we
cool.
love
He's
him.
sick. He's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Also, like truth be told, I fucking love how Godzilla realizes, oh shit, I just gotta rip off his fucking head.
Let's rip it off. Which I
And then
always
also,
loved how in Terror
yeah,
of
yep,
MechaGodzilla.
yep. You're saying exactly what I was gonna bring up.
Yeah,
Where he's
I
like,
love
they
that.
learned.
They
I'm like,
learned.
oh fuck.
That was funny.
Very cool. Very cool.
But I love the MechaGodzilla design. I agree with you. I don't
Yeah,
think they've
it's
ever been able to top that
something
design.
about it.
Yeah.
I just love how like old sci-fi it is, and
Oh
just
yeah. Yeah.
like Kiryu's awesome because he's almost has like an anime kind of ish design to him.
Yes. Yeah.
But like, it's always MechaGodzilla one for me. I love that fucking design.
Yeah. I mean, the movie's insane, and
Yeah.
it's. I think I picked Megalon as the most 70, like the film to best sum up the 70s era, but it was a toss up between Megalon and this film. And you watch the two films back to back, and you cannot believe it's the same team.
Yeah.
They are night and day different.
Yeah.
Same director, same special effects guy. You know?
The opening shots of this movie is really good too, like the fire and everything. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
cool. So cool.
Yeah. Cool. I love this movie.
Me
I
too,
think
me
that's a
too.
wonderful pick.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your
Definitely
two,
in
Adam?
my top 10.
Yeah. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
What's your two? What's your two, Adam?
My two is Godzilla versus Destoroyah.
Oh, uh, no
That
fucking shot. Hey, Adam,
mm.
we might have to wait to talk about that one.
All right, let's wait to talk about it. Let's wait to talk about it.
And if I'm right, this is fucking crazy how this lined up. So,
It is
Adam,
kind of.
do you
Yeah,
want to
what's
know
your
what my
number
number
two?
one is? No, that was my number two is MechaGodzilla. Do you
Oh,
want
your
my
number two
one
is MechaGodzilla. Sorry, what's your number one?
Godzilla versus Destoroyah. That's so funny. That's so
It's
funny.
so good. It's so good.
But this movie, I kind of have hinted at it throughout the fucking stream so far. I love this fucking movie, and it's like I love everything about this movie. I love the shots. I love Destoroyah as a monster. The whole meaning of this movie, I think, is why I love it so much. What this movie meant when it fucking came out. It really was like the penultimate movie at the time for Godzilla because of everything. It was obviously it was written to be like that. Destoroyah is literally the incarnation of the design of the machine that killed Godzilla, and is doing it again basically. Godzilla is dying in this movie and melting down. Like it even fucking Destoroyah kills the fucking younger Godzilla, and even when it becomes alien for a little bit, and I fucking love aliens.
Oh my god, I love that. I love that
Yeah,
sequence. I like that it's something new.
yeah,
In fact, that's one of the things in Space Godzilla that I think Space Godzilla gets a bad rep. I love that they were really trying to do some new shit in
hmm
that film, and like there's some shootouts. I love how the
yeah,
humans aren't just sitting around and watching
yeah,
during the final battle. You know, they're a part of it.
yeah,
But in Godzilla versus Destroyer, it is the Star Trek 60 Undiscovered Country to Godzilla. I mean, you can't get a better finale than this. You just
yeah.
cannot. I
It's
mean, the
the
tagline to this movie in Japan was Godzilla dies. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
That
And
is I think why I love this movie so much. I'm sorry to cut you off. Is how meaningful this movie is
it
in
is.
the grand scheme of Godzilla as a
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah.
And I know obviously we all know it continued after this. I know.
Right.
But like even so, I don't think that takes away from it at all. I don't think it
I don't
takes away from
either.
it at all. And that final meltdown scene when Godzilla actually dies is fucking gut wrenching to me
And
still. Like,
and I'm one of the few that's glad that they didn't go with the original ending, which was he was going to melt down in the process of fighting Destroyer. I
no,
think
I
that
think
would
it's
have
way more impactful.
I think
That
it
way
would
to
have
do it.
taken something away. This was Godzilla's moment.
Yeah, yeah,
And I love how even in the end he roars in defiance.
yep,
You
yep.
know, and it's so good. If it was Ifukube's last bit of music he ever composed was Requiem.
hmm
Um, and it was his last it was his last score to anything was Godzilla versus Destroyer.
Yeah,
Very fitting, very emotional score. As well, and I think it's perfect that Destroyer is what he is,
yep,
and I
yep.
think it's also excellent that in terms of official Godzilla media, Destroyer, for TV shows and movies, has not appeared in anything else.
Yeah, that's why I was so scared when they name dropped the Oxygen Destroyer and King of the
Same,
Monsters. As I was saying
same,
before, where it's like you can't do that.
yeah,
That is a very big connotation here that you get at, and you have an audience of fans who will constantly like theory craft going forward from here with this. You
yeah.
need to understand the importance of
Yes,
Destroyer. It's not just a
Master.
cool design. It is an awesome design. It's an amazing design,
Yeah,
but there's more to that than Destroyer.
exactly.
Yep.
And Master Video Studios, you also mentioned it here. Destroy as the Doomsday to
Yeah.
Godzilla
Yeah.
Superman.
Totally.
Absolutely, even design wise.
Yeah. And I
You
love
know,
Doomsday too. Like I love
yeah,
that design too. Like
yeah.
shocker.
You cannot take Destroyer lightly because to me, everyone says King Ghidorah is Godzilla's arch nemesis. I always go it's Destroyer.
Yeah.
It's
I
always
think
Destroyer. King
I
Ghidorah
get
didn't
the
kill
Ghidorah. Yeah.
Godzilla's son.
Yeah. I get the Ghidorah thing. I do. Like maybe more like iconically, but like
Yeah,
if you had to tell me one specifically, it's like this is monster is literally the antithesis to Godzilla. It is like
literally.
to a T. It is the
Yeah.
antithesis to Godzilla.
I mean, he killed Godzilla's son. I mean,
Yes.
and that's a gut wrenching fucking scene.
Yes.
Godzilla crying as he's trying to revive him and it just doesn't work. I'm like,
Oh.
oh, god damn it.
Oh my god, this
Oh, and that
movie.
final shot, too. You find out that Godzilla Minla, sorry, Godzilla Jr. has been resurrected and is now Godzilla. And you hear
Oh my
that
god.
classic 60s Godzilla roar.
Yep.
And then it just fades to black and credits.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm like,
Oh.
Jesus, chills. I'm getting chills just
Oh.
thinking about it.
Yep. Yep.
So
It's
good.
this movie is fucking awesome.
It's so
It's
good.
so
And it's not overly bloated either. Like a lot of finales can be super over bloated.
no.
And it's not. It's still relatively simple. You can still follow it. I think it benefits if you've watched the other Heisei era film.
I agree with you. I think you
Yeah.
definitely need some understanding of Godzilla prior to know why this movie is so impactful and why it's such a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's a very much a very consumable movie. It's not like one like I mean, I know we're jumping back to Showa, and it's like I said it before. It's my five, but it's not something like Ghidorah. Was like that's a little hard for someone to digest on like on a
Yeah.
whim watch. That's a little
Yeah.
hard. This is
Yes.
not
It is.
that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not that.
Yeah. I have to be either watching the entire Heisei era
Mhm.
to watch this film, or I need to be in a very specific mood to watch it. Usually around Christmas time, believe it or not, because I
Really?
always, yeah, because I always remember watching that DVD that was with Space Godzilla.
Wait, hold on, wait.
I still have it. Yep, that exact one.
There it is.
Yep, that
There it
exact
is,
one.
everybody. I still
Uh,
have it.
which, by the way, in terms of North American releases, that is still the best copy, the best quality
Look
copy
how
of.
gross. Like, remember when they used to do this shit?
Oh yeah, it's so
This
gross.
shit's so fucking nasty,
I
dude.
could see all of the smudges on
I
it from
know.
here, Lucas. I was like, oh god.
We're gonna put that there. Have it right
I still have that. I still have
there.
that. But I got to tell you, it's better quality, in my humble opinion, than the Blu-rays
I'll keep that
of
in
Space
mind. Yeah.
Godzilla and Destoroyah. Yeah. But anyways, I watched that around Christmas time, and so there's something about Christmas light in my room on my Christmas
Mhm.
tree, and Godzilla versus Destoroyah that always gets me, and I'm like, it's not Christmas without it in
Yeah.
some weird way. Um, and I remember when I was a kid being so angry at this film because I was like, how dare they kill Godzilla? How fucking dare they?
Yeah.
So good. It's so good. It's a
You know
masterpiece.
what's really also one thing with this movie too that is like
But
it's kind of like I kind of always forget this about this movie and it's just kind of like in a weird cosmic way. This movie came out December 9th, 1995. I was just born into the world like 4 days prior.
yeah,
It's so wild to me that that is like this one ended up being my favorite and it was like I like just existed.
yeah, yep, yep.
I love this fucking
So
movie.
so good, so
Love this
good.
fucking movie.
It's so good.
Yeah. So Adam, what's your number one?
My number one is Shin Godzilla.
Really? That's so funny. Other line up. I think it's so funny.
Shin Godzilla is my shit.
Yeah.
Like everything from how it's edited, how it's shot, to characters being introduced with subtitles, to events being introduced with subtitles, to
Hmm.
locations being introduced with subtitles. The sort of documentary, no hold barred style of it. I love Hideaki Anno. I
Hmm.
love
Hmm.
Shinji Higuchi.
Hmm.
It was a good marriage. It was lightning in a bottle. Um, I could not believe the first time I watched this film when it started. The style started. I could not tell you how happy I was because even like that quick editing style I loved from Evangelion, Neon Genesis
Yep.
Evangelion,
Yep.
and they just copied that over basically into this film, which I guess isn't so much Hideaki Anno and it's more Shinji Higuchi, and I'm like, cool. Um, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
It's
this new interpretation of Godzilla. It's deep, you know. It's
yeah.
a good satire of Japanese government without it being completely ridiculous.
Yeah. I was gonna because the satire specifically it was based on a specific event, right? Am I
Yeah, it
if
was
I'm
based on the
correct?
2011 tsunami
Yeah.
specifically,
Yeah.
and Japan's failure to react, the government's failure to react to it properly.
Yeah.
It's a direct satire of that.
Yeah.
It's very much so a Japanese movie made for Japanese audience.
Hmm.
And me following the politics of Japan, I got it
Yeah.
immediately. I got it. Like one of my favorite moments in that film is when the prime minister, who I like how they make the prime minister look kind of incompetent, but he's still a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The prime minister goes, "There's no chance that this monster will walk on land." Oh shit! The monster is now walking on land. That happened in reality, by the way. What they said was the prime minister. I'm not sure if it was the prime minister, but one high-ranking politician said on live television that nuclear reactor in Fukushima will not explode.
No.
Not 2 hours later, there was an explosion at that reactor. um, it's stuff like that I picked up on
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately, I was like, "That's funny." Well, it's not funny, but like I get it.
Yeah. I know. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
And it's a very cathartic movie. I don't understand the level, the hatred that this movie gets. How a lot of people say it's nothing but jingoistic Japanese nationalism, and sure, that's a part of it. But I don't see anything wrong with the themes of the Japanese being like, no, we have a problem to solve. We need to solve it. And I never understood that hatred that some of
Yeah,
this
I
movie
never
got.
really got that either.
It was hailed in Japan. It won every award under the sun in
Yeah,
Japan, but it was very mixed over here
yeah,
when it came out, despite it being a big hit.
yeah.
Um, but I loved it. I loved it to the point that as I said, it's my number one pick, number two if you include the original Godzilla. But
Yeah.
um, I just love it so much.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
so interesting.
I think it's just an also again, like I said, I'm also an Evangelion Hideki Anno fan, so
Yeah,
like knowing he was part of this was like a super like, oh, ooh, okay,
I thought that
this
was
is
an
gonna be
April
something.
Fool's joke.
Yeah,
They announced it on April 1st, and I
yeah,
heard that Hideaki Anno was teaming up with Shinji Higuchi to make the new Godzilla movie, and I was
yeah,
like, no,
yeah,
no. And then when it turned out to be true, I was like, it's gonna be good.
yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Well, like I said, because for me this was four. This is four, and like I waited on it. Where it's like but I said also before prior where it was like I like -1 more than Shin Godzilla, but I like the Shin Godzilla design more than the -1 design. And it's true because I love how scary Shin Godzilla is. I love how
Oh yeah,
monstrous
he's
it is.
terrifying.
I
Yeah.
love seeing the evolution from like Kamada-kun to the Shinagawa-kun to the final fucking design.
Yeah.
All
The
the way to
weird inspiration from Hedorah
yeah,
in
yeah,
this interpretation of
yeah,
Godzilla too is very interesting,
yeah.
and I like it a lot. It's definitely I didn't think I would like it. I remember when I heard the rumors coming out that Godzilla changes forms within this movie. I remember sitting there being, and he has like lasers that come out of his back and his tail and everything. And I
See,
remember being like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. But then I watch it in confines of the film itself, and I'm like, fuck, it works.
See, I didn't know. See, I didn't know about the lasers until I saw the movie. I didn't know about that.
Oh, you didn't know
And
about that?
no, I didn't. I didn't. And that's what that the whole "Who Will Know" sequence. That is where
It's
that
great.
movie accelerated. Where I was like in on the edge of my seat, where seeing that the lasers are all meant to be like back protection for him to like blind spots.
Yeah.
It's the fucking final shot when he finishes and he slowly cools down from the purple back to his normal state with the flames behind him. The fucking song, like my god,
Well, yeah,
what
it
a
is
fucking
interesting
scene.
because my favorite track on the score by Shiro Sagisu, Hideaki Anno and Shinji
Yeah.
Higuchi staple, um, is actually the first track, which is Persecution of the Masses.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you on that one. That
I
track's fucking
love that track.
like,
I think it's so creepy,
yeah.
and it's from the human's perspective if you read the lyrics. And then
Mhm.
Who Will Know
It's from Godzilla.
is from Godzilla's perspective on us.
I love that aspect of it. I
And
really
yeah,
do.
I love that.
I
And
really do.
oh my god, I still think I thought this was the most powerful atomic breath until -1.
Yeah.
Um, because -1 actually turns into a goddamn nuclear explosion.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty badass seeing all of Tokyo get engulfed in flames because Godzilla is literally barfing flame.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I like
And
how
then it gets
his jaw opens like a snake too. I
oh,
like that.
it like flays a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah,
Just like a little, just
yeah,
enough where it's like it's not weird, but it's like
yeah.
that's not normal. That's
Yeah,
not
well,
normal.
I think that's everyone. I like the reaction too. Is it they made it look like he was a burned, charred
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and I like the mystery of Goromaki. Who Goromaki is a picture of the director Kaihachi Okamoto, and
Yeah.
Kaihachi Okamoto is the man who directly inspired the style to Shin Godzilla. Because if you watch a movie called Japan's Longest Day, which is about the last 24 hours of World War II, identical
Okay.
to the style of Shin Godzilla. Identical. And that was one of my favorite movies before I saw Shin Godzilla.
Mhm.
So I got it. Like
Yeah.
instantly. But I love how they don't answer the question of what the fuck was he doing. There's
Mhm.
questions that are left unanswered that, quite frankly, I don't want answers to. I don't think this movie
I think you're right.
needs a
I think you're
sequel.
right. Yeah.
And honestly, it's fucking masterpiece.
Yeah. It's great. Also, like they kind of don't really win
No,
because
they only
it's just
stop
a
him.
matter of time. It's just
Yeah,
like they literally make a point of that.
yeah.
Like, and like I also like going on the idea of Shin Godzilla having a sequel, because I was talking about it before. It's like, well, I like a lot of the concepts that were there. I don't think I would want it either, because I think that final shot
Yeah.
alone is enough to be like, I don't think you could show this, and I would be any more scared than that final shot.
That
Because like,
final
what
image
the
is
fuck?
haunting. Yeah,
What the
that final image
fuck?
is absolutely haunting, and I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good, and
yeah. It's
a perfect way to end this movie.
totally,
It's
totally.
not over.
Yeah.
He's adapting again,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that. I love
Yep.
that.
It's sick. It's
Yeah,
so cool, man.
yeah.
Like
It's really good. The fact that they used the trains to
the
pin
trains,
Godzilla.
the trains.
Yeah, it's like, haha, we've turned the tables on you,
I also
Godzilla.
have to mention the one shot that was like on a fucking uh wheelchair. I forgot.
Yes.
That shot's fucking great.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Shin
good.
Godzilla's fucking awesome. It's a great fucking
Yeah,
movie.
it's so good. It is.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It's my favorite since the original. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It just blew me away. It's so
I
good.
got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
It's well.
So those were our top 5 Godzilla movies.
Yeah, we go top
We
5 favorite Godzilla movie. Shin Godzilla
just
is
kidding.
easily the most
Just kidding. Number
terrifying.
1 is Godzilla's Revenge.
Oh yeah, hands down. It's the most
The
misunderstood
best one.
masterpiece of the entire franchise. Is Godzilla's Revenge. Godzilla says I should fight my own battles. You know.
Battles, you know.
Yeah. Steve says Shin Goji is the most terrifying
Oh shit, there he is.
version of the King of the Monsters we've ever seen. Well, that's up for debate because GMK is pretty fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's either Shin or GMK for me, but I do
Yeah,
get where he's coming from.
I do
do
too.
get
I
where
do
he's
too.
coming
If you have not seen GMK, we should do a watch party for GMK. That movie's so good. That movie's so good.
from. It's great.
Um, TBH, I watched your top 13 kaiju movies when I was a kid. You two are my favorite kaiju content creators. Oh, the one that I did with Gorazard. Yeah, that's old. That's like over a decade old now. I think I chose War of the Gargantuas as my favorite kaiju movie. That wasn't Godzilla. I think that's what I chose. Because to me, you can't top War of the Gargantuas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Oh my god, the comments. Hi,
Okay.
Steve.
Everyone's coming in. Hi, Steve.
Yeah, Godzilla's run-in history with trains, and yeah, Shin Godzilla kind of flipped that trope on its head. Yeah, I kind of love that.
Yeah, that's actually totally right.
Yeah. Well, Lucas, we've been
Oh,
talking
wow.
now for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
I think it's about time we start wrapping up this stream.
We had some laughs. We talked about movies you liked. I died for a little bit, you know.
He died
It
for a
works.
little bit, yeah, but the show must go on, you know.
It happens, you know.
It happens, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, Godzilla, what an icon.
Yeah. Yeah.
The versatility of Godzilla, I think, is what's made him stand the test of time.
Totally. I agree
Because
with you
he
on
can
that.
totally be anything you need him to be. He can be a stand-in for whatever you need him to be a stand-in for.
He can be
a
a
hero.
destroyer. Yeah,
Yep.
a hero, destroyer. He could be a
Mhm.
Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Like it's
Absolutely.
it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Like, shouts out to my boy Godzuki really quick.
Godzuki. Oh yeah, yeah. We love Godzuki. Ba-da-da-ba, Godzilla.
Godzilla and Godzuki.
I used to
Wild.
make my mother record those because they used to play on Boomerang. I don't even know if Boomerang is still a thing.
It's not. Boomerang
Yeah.
is not what it used to be. Boomerang was a dead channel for a while where they just
Yeah.
really were like on autopilot, and now it's just like it's basically just like Cartoon Network 2 where they just show other shit. Like,
lame.
yeah, it's not as cool.
But yeah, I used to watch it on Boomerang all the time.
Yeah.
The Hanna-Barbera Godzilla thing, and I thought it was cool.
Yep.
But man, 70 years of mayhem. Here's the 70s more.
Yep.
70 more.
Yep. I'll always be there, like night of
Oh,
for
yeah.
any Godzilla movie that comes out.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yep.
very glad. I'm very like if I may get like a little sentimental here for a second. I'm very blessed that I get to do that. I'm very fortunate I get to do that. That I grew up with Godzilla and now I'm like going to the opening nights of these movies. And also like I really think about I told you I saw -1 3 times. I saw it the opening night. I saw it with Steve actually, who's in. I don't know if he's still here or not, but he was in chat. But the second time was the most meaningful one for me because I saw that with my dad and my brother, and I paid for the tickets. I was like, let's all go see this together. You know, we watched these movies growing up our whole life. It was blind for them. This was my second viewing of it, but I just that factoid alone, where it's like I grew up watching these movies. My dad took me to Godzilla 2000, and now it's like I'm repaying the favor. It felt like a really growth point in life for me, and that is why I'm so grateful that I get to see these movies now in theaters. Like I get to see them, like
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, Godzilla and me, we're pretty tight.
yeah,
Um, now everyone has their Marvel. Everyone talks about Marvel and DC. Mine has always been Godzilla. Always
yeah.
been. As long
I
as I
got
can
you.
remember.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Godzilla. I started my YouTube channel to talk about Godzilla, specifically because I had no one to talk about Godzilla to. I became a member of the Sons of Sarazawa podcast because of Godzilla and our
Mhm.
shared love of Godzilla. I found this whole community. My first major audience on YouTube was Godzilla. Godzilla and kaiju related content. And I found this whole smorgasbord of people, for good and for bad, uh, you know, who always tune into this stuff. My audience has since changed, very deliberately so. I've broken out of the kaiju mold. But that doesn't mean the kaiju mold has left me. I will always love the big G. I'll always love the kaiju genre for as long as I live.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that even after I'm dead, Godzilla will continue to cause mayhem.
Yeah, that's metal as fuck.
Yeah. I like
And
that idea.
if I may add something to this, Adam, as well,
Mm.
if I may add something to this as well, is that I can't stress the amount of in my life, the amount of, and here we go again, sentimental again, uh, friendships that thrived from me meeting someone and be like even like one of my earliest friends, my friend Austin. He married. He said he was watching a little bit before. I don't know if he's still watching now. That was like one of the first things we bonded over, along with some of our other friends. And Adam, literally, even you and I, that's how we
Mm-hmm.
knew each other at college.
Mm-hmm.
With this
Mm-hmm.
fucking shirt too, like it's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah. It's all over this man in a rubber lizard suit destroying miniature cities.
hell
It's
yeah,
more than
brother.
that.
Yeah,
He is 100% more than that.
yeah.
And something that I love about how versatile the series is. I mean, it's the longest running film franchise in cinema history
Hmm.
for good reason. The fact that it can be lighthearted fun. When I need to feel better because I'm really depressed, I'll pop on a Showa era Godzilla film because they're dumb, lighthearted fun.
Hmm.
If I want to see something more serious, go Heisei. Go. There's something for everyone with Godzilla.
Hmm.
It's one of those few franchises where you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yep, yep.
Very rare that a franchise can do that. And by far one of the most versatile franchises on the world. In the
Hundred
world
percent,
is this,
hundred
if not
percent.
the most versatile. And I'm like, I think the only thing that can top Godzilla's a Godzilla anniversary to me is when King Kong turns 100
Hmm.
in 10 years.
That's 10. Holy shit, you're right.
Yep, 9 actually, but
Ooh,
um,
that's gonna be wild.
it is going to be wild.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do when that happens.
Well,
Um,
you got time. You got time
yeah, I got nine
to
years to
cook.
think
You
about it.
got time to
I'm all
cook.
right. Yeah, I've got time to cook.
Yeah.
Well, Lucas, thank you very much for joining me. I knew that I was going to have to do something with the 70th anniversary of
Come
Godzilla, and
come on now.
I
Come on.
said, who the fuck else am I going to ask?
Come on now. now.
Well, Lucas, pimp yourself out, if you will.
Alrighty. All right, everyone. Listen up. Come in. Come in. Come closer. My name's Lucas. I'm the humble little host of Pal Pop here on YouTube. I also where I do streams. I will be streaming this week. I actually took off last week because it was a duty week and I had other stuff I had to do behind the scenes. But I'll be back this week. We're getting back to Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster and Pikmin 2. Pikmin 2 is really hard. um, but I also have a Twitter at L Scribble Shack at Pal Pop where I post art. I actually will be posting a new art tomorrow. It is not Godzilla related, but I will be posting a new art tomorrow that actually I think came out pretty good. I will also plug, and I don't really know how to plug this fully. I have a Blue Sky as well, but like I don't know like what. There's no like at something. It's just it's like palpop.bluesky whatever. You just look up palpop on Lucas S palpop on Blue
What
Sky,
is
and you'll
that?
find. It's a Twitter equivalent that people have been
Oh,
getting
okay.
on recently. I have an Instagram at palpop the O's or zeros where I post artwork too. And yeah, that's really it for me right now. That's me to a T.
Mm-hmm. Again, Lucas, I wish to thank you very much for joining. Well, me, subscribe to me by clicking the subscribe button. You can also visit my website, adamnproductions.com. There you can see some exclusive content, as well as just see some things that are rather organized instead of my YouTube channel, which is kind of unfortunately all over the place as of right now. But thank y'all for tuning in. I do love Godzilla. I know I've had some issues with the big G in the past, or not so much the big G, but certainly the fandom, and I still don't like the fandom. I have my issues with them. But I love Godzilla, and I think that can absolutely unite us all,
Mm-hmm.
even those who I strongly disagree with. And all I could say is, here's to 70 more years of total destruction. We love you, Godzilla. We love
Love
you.
you,
I
buddy.
love you, man.
Love you. Love the big
uh,
G.
can't wait to see the next one in theaters.
Yep.
Cannot wait. Whichever,
Yep.
whatever shape and form that turns out to be.
Yep.
All right. Well, Lucas, again, thank you very much for joining. And that said,
Of course.
sayonara.
Peace.